with me.
Very cool.
Yeah, man. Let's go. We're going to have some fun here.
I'm
Hey,
stoked.
everybody on YouTube, what's going on? We are midweek. We are on hump day, and we've hit that crest of the mountain where we're about to aim towards the weekend. Good to have each and every one of you here with us tonight as we got a great show. Merle is back. Merle's back. He's cold. Merle's apparently cold, and because it's like +1 down where he is, which is t-shirt weather where I am. And it's all good. And we got a great guest for you guys tonight as we get the radio show going in about 6 minutes. Mustafa Gatollari is your guest, and he is from the television series Ghost Hunters. And we're going to get real badass into the paranormal tonight. And we'll beat him up a little bit. We'll beat him up a little bit, and have some fun with him. He's got a good beard, high and tight. Just so you all know, high and tight beard, which he's rocking a beard nonetheless, which is good for us. And we'll get it going here momentarily. Let's give a quick rundown. Everybody who is in our chat room so far in the gold medal position, we got Cloudy, James in silver, Paulie, still hoping that his Toronto Maple Leafs will win the Stanley Cup in the next 55 years. Yeah, good luck. He's in the bronze position. Twin Rose, how you doing? Hey, Steven, race fan. Boz Monster, where are you hiding these days? Where, Boz Monster, believe it or not, he flies for United Airlines, and he's turned a bunch of the United Airlines crew onto our show, so we appreciate him for that. Susie Cutesy, how you doing? Chris Jarvis, Dirt Road, good to have you here. Oh, there she is, everyone. The gorgeous and talented Manitoba Becky is back, rocking her spaced out radio t-shirt. She is playing with her autographed coaxial cable right now as we speak. Brad Forsey is here, everyone. He'll be signing autographs after the show. Line up outside the studio on the right. Bigfoot Rob, how you doing, man? Hi, Jenny and Chris Reap. Good to have you guys here. Mary Bone, she's a vegetarian. Mary Bone. Good to have you here, Mary. We love you here. Mary will be signing autographs. Line up to the left of the studio when we are done. Millennium, good to see you. Jason William, good to have you here. Kirk, good to have you here, man. Justin and John, nice to see you. The lovely and talented Las Vegas vixen herself, Heather McIntyre. We love her around here. Yes, we do. Troy, SR71, good to have you here. Thank you for coming on in. As we scroll on down and see who else is hiding with us. Let me see. And Olin, good to have you here from Minnesota. Tammy, the lovely Canadian temptress herself. Little Deborah, good to have you here. Hey, Aiden, how are you? Fapster, always a pleasure to have you here. Hi there, Super Dolly. How's your cape tonight? Are you wearing your cape? Could you let us know? We'd appreciate it. Project Blue Book, nice to see you. And I think we're almost caught up here. Michael Morris, good to have you here. TMI, thanks for coming in. Opa de Greco, how you doing, man? Merle is here. Merle's in the room. Don't let him fool you. The Paranormal Road Trippers, that's Merle. He'll give you a wave and sign an autograph. The man who supports the Hallmark Channel himself, Corey Rudd, is here, everyone. He is proud to say that not only does he subscribe to Hallmark, he is also Coldplay's #1 fan. #1 fan right there. Derek Edwards, good to see you. Art Delos Santos, welcome to our chat room for the first time. How are you? No Despair, good to see you back. Stuart, nice to see you. And Steve Karn, welcome to the show. And I think we're caught up here. Oh, Michael Astuca is here. And Den Bub, good to see you. Now I think we're caught up. Focus. Lexi Fox, everyone, the bass guitarist for Steel Panther. Yes, I love Steel Panther, man. I do.
I am obsessed with Steel Panther.
Me too,
just
man.
Like Tiger Woods is one of my favorite songs.
Oh God, you know what? My buddy Jamie is friends with them, and yeah, man. And there's a video of Jamie sitting with my buddy Jamie grew up with Vinnie Paul and Dimebag Daryl. And so Jamie was at a concert. God bless them both for on the other side, but Jamie was at a concert, a Steel Panther concert with Chad Kroeger and Vinnie Paul, who thought they would be best friends, but they were. And so the camera from the Steel Panther kind of comes around, and there's Jamie standing there between them, and when Vinnie and Chad get called up on stage to play with them, it was awesome.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I remember messaging him, and he's like, I'm like, dude, what are you doing at that concert? Oh, man. He goes, that was a rough night, Davey. That was a rough night.
Oh my God. Yeah. Steel Panther is just so interesting
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's like they take the idea of concept of like a parody band, but they're like, oh yeah, but we're actually brilliant musicians.
I know.
And we just rock so hard. They're
know.
incredible.
You can't go to their concert and be politically correct. That is for sure.
It's impossible.
I
have no interest
my
in
favorite
trying.
my favorite song by them is Glory Hole. But all right.
Yes.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Not the glory.
All right, everyone, here we go. From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on TalkStream Live, KPNL, and Revolution Radio. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they are free for you at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. You can follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including Rockin' Out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. Our main man, Merle, is back for Ghosts of the Great White North. Yeah, Merle is an accomplished paranormal investigator just outside of Vancouver, British Columbia. And each month we get a little spooky with Merle, taking in all things paranormal. Tonight, we are proud to be joined by Mustafa Gatollari. He is from the television series Ghost Hunters. Mustafa is the paranormal historian and site analyst. He's a writer as well. Takes everything in an investigative way, the way a journalism student should ask all sorts of questions, and that's what he does. He not only enjoys conducting interviews with witnesses, but he loves digging into the deep, dark side of the haunting. What causes it? What's happening in the public records? We're going to find out about his favorite hauntings and what it's like to be on television with that nice, tight beard that he has. Then at the bottom of hour number 3, I will bring you the SOR Newswire, brought to you by Paranoia Magazine. Hey, Merle, good to see you again. How you doing, man?
Doing very well, Dave. I think I've figured my microphone out after 2 years of using it. Sound good?
Yeah.
Still sound good? Good.
Good to see you, full of energy. Pith, we call it. Pith around here. Mike is full of pith, everyone. And we're going to have a good time. Mike, you brought in a good friend from the television series Ghost Hunters. Tell us a little bit about Mustafa here.
Yeah, I love the show. I love the program or the project you've been working on with Brandon. The YouTube special, since kind of TV's taking a little bit of a stop right now. I'm excited to get into that and much more with you the next 2.5 hours.
And Mustafa, how you been doing? Thank you for doing this, by the way.
Oh, guys, are you kidding me? Thank you for having me. I haven't even said anything yet, and I'm having a blast. I mean, you guys are awesome. This is a lot of fun. I've been doing good.
Well, it's because we're Canadian. It's because we're Canadian.
Yeah, usually that counts against you, but I mean,
exactly.
Here we go.
I
had to do it. I'm just still salty over the Raptors beating the Warriors. I was very upset about that. No, seriously, you guys are awesome. This is really, really cool.
Well, we're thankful that you're here. I mean, big television star, gracing us with your presence here. I know you have a no eye contact rule while we do this, so
yeah,
we're
I'm a little disgusted right now. You guys broke that right from the get go. So
that's why we're focused on the beard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Below.
Mustafa, I got to ask you, and I like to start things off nice and slow before we hit sixth gear we hit the middle of the show here. But everybody has a story in the paranormal. What led you down this road?
Ooh, yeah, I gotta say, it's pretty typical from a lot of people that I talk to. I think Brandon Alvis is probably the only person I met who investigates the paranormal who didn't have a personal experience that led him to it first. For me, I grew up in a haunted house. First night we moved in, my parents, I could hear them like talking in Albanian in the living room while we were eating dinner, and I knew that that was a bad sign that there was some serious stuff going down because whenever they spoke the mother tongue, it was always something very serious. So I went in and looked into the living room, and I noticed that all the stuff we had moved into the house uh, was somehow all on the other side of the room, and it had happened while we were eating dinner. And they kind of talked about it, and they were like freaked out. And then later that night, while my older brother and I were sleeping in our bedroom, which was upstairs, we started hearing all these noises beneath us. So we walk out into the hallway down the stairs, and the noise is getting louder and louder and louder. And then we noticed it was coming from the kitchen. We go and we walk inside the kitchen, and then we stood there and we saw all the cabinets and dressers and drawers in the kitchen just opening and closing by themselves. Pop, 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 pop. So we looked at each other and we were like, "This is awesome! Like this is incredible!" And my mom heard us like freaking out downstairs. I guess my dad's like, "Go see what these idiots are doing." And my mom came downstairs and she saw it too. And after that happened, we brought my great grandfather, who was a sheikh. He established the first mosque in Philadelphia, and he came to the house to like bless it. It didn't work. There was still like a lot of crazy stuff going down over there. So yeah, as time progressed, I'll try to keep this pithy. I know our boy here is pith, but I'll keep it pithy.
Piss it up, man. Piss it up.
Yeah. As the years progressed, I kind of started hating the idea that like every misfortune that befell my family, my parents would kind of put it on the supernatural force in the house. And my parents thought it was a jinn. Albanians say jinda, but like Muslims from different parts of the world, they have their different ways of calling jinn. And they're these like some people say they're like these mischievous creatures that do stuff. They're just humans, kind of. If you read the Quranic traditions and everything, they're just humans that kind of live in a different dimension, and they have some different attributes. So my dad's like, "It's this jinn," and I'm like, "No, Dad, it's you're not broke because of jinn. You're broke because you have an 8th grade education from Albania and you're investing in the stock market. Like that's why you're broke." It's like my parents, they're like, "Oh, our relationship stinks because it's a jinn that's doing it." And I was like, "No, it's no jinn. It's just you got an arranged marriage at 17, Mom. Like that's why you have a crappy relationship with that. It's got nothing to do with jinn." So yeah, I went to go and test this idea that there was something paranormal or supernatural in our house, and I went out to kind of disprove it. And then the more I started researching the home that I lived in, the more kind of questions I had. It turns out that there was somebody there, from all accounts, of somebody who had killed himself in the house. And then all these stories that my older brother would tell me as a kid of, this old man who was tying shoelaces around his neck in the garage started to kind of like come together. And then I just started talking to more family members and friends of family members who found out that I was like into investigating this kind of stuff. And I was very religious growing up. So I had like these Muslim Albanian families who'd be like, "Hey, come check out my house." And I do the whole paranormal investigation almost as pageantry at first. But like, I wanted to help people with their personal problems. And I was using ghost hunting kind of as like the smoke screen to like, "Hey, what's really going on in your life?" But in doing that, I kind of became a believer because I'd come across things that I couldn't explain. So that's how it all started. Sorry, I tried to keep it short.
No, that's we got lots of time, man, with you tonight. We're proud to have
Cool.
you here, Mustafa. I want to ask you because from what I know, and trust me, it is very limited. But I know, from certain religious faiths, when it comes to things that are paranormal, there's usually very strict connotations that go along with that. how have, you coming from a Muslim background, how has that affected the way you look into the paranormal? Because I know that with the jinn, the Muslims really fear the jinn out there for the most part. But being a daily paranormal investigator, how has that kind of dealt with your own religious practices and beliefs?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very judgmental when it comes to like people's ideas of blaming their own problems on like supernatural forces. I'm extremely judgmental to the point where like people that I investigate with, they're like, settle down, man. Like you're kind of a jerk. But I try to divorce myself from any type of religious, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Flavorings, I guess salt bay, like flavorings, whenever it comes to like doing types of investigations. One, because I think it's extremely um, arrogant to think that like one belief system that took place during a certain number of dozen decades is right. You know what I mean? However, if I'm investigating or to try and help somebody like reconcile with a certain thing, or maybe you're investigating an entity that and, there's strong evidence to suggest that it's a person. I'm going to start invoking certain religious incantations or stuff like that, because that's what the person was. So if the person was Muslim, I'm going to start I'm going to start reciting Quran that I know, or I'm going to start speaking to them in a way that maybe they would understand. If an entity I believe is Catholic, I'm going to start saying, reading Catholic prayers or verses from the Bible or any type of hymns or whatever that is, so that I could better relate to the entity that's there. So I think it all just depends on the nature of the investigation. For me, I kind of like to just do evidence in terms of paranormal investigating. And I hope that doesn't offend anybody. I know everybody thinks that their whole thing is like, okay, I know some people use a very religious kind of thing and they'll use demons' names and stuff like that. But I'm just like, hey, man, like, let's just document it. I don't care.
I
totally
hear
agree with
that.
you, though.
So
Oh,
sorry, Merle. Let me just get this in if you don't mind. It's rare that Merle speaks. He's like my we're like Penn and Teller at times. But Mustafa, I just want to ask one follow-up question before I turn it over to Merle here. How has your family reacted to that? This part of you, have they shown concern? Have they been upset that you've gone down this road? I mean, because it can be taxing. Like, I don't know how religious your family is, but I know there are certain people in my family that there is no way I would tell them that I talk UFOs and chase Bigfoot and ghosts.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Honestly, my dad didn't know I did it until I got the show. He had no idea. He knew I was a researcher. He knew I'd be researching stuff, and I was a journalism major. He thought on weekends I was hanging out with friends, going to the movies, stuff like that. But like even when I went to go on a trip with him to Albania, when I was in Eastern Europe, I rented a car and I drove to Serbia because I had heard about this parking garage that they had taken down, and it turned out to be a site of like a mass grave. So I went over there with some recording equipment. I bought it at like, I paid way too much money for it. I used like literally like the last amount, like last few dollars I had in my bank account in Albania. And then after doing the currency exchange, I got like this recorder and I recorded it, and I ended up getting EVPs that were insane. And I sent it to my, a member who was a member of my team at the time, Mike, and I mailed him, an SD card. And I said, hey man, you got to listen to this. Can you analyze this audio? And he was blown away by it. And it was all in like Albanian, which was really cool. So my dad didn't know that at the time. I had my second cousin, well, third cousin actually, lie for me and say, "Oh, we went out fishing and we got lost somewhere," but like we went to another country entirely. Like we went to Serbia, and like we were just there the whole day. And he's like, "What are we doing at this like weird site?" And I don't even know how we found it, man, but it was incredible. Like it was really cool. So yeah, my dad was kind of like, I knew he'd flip out over it, and most of my family members were really surprised because I was always the kid who couldn't watch scary movies. I was total chicken, just afraid of my own shadow. But for when it comes to paranormal stuff, I don't know. I get more excited than I do afraid. You know, I get more afraid of like people trying, like, I'm walking at night in the city and then I hear footsteps behind me. I'm like, "Ugh," like I always think like someone's trying to like stab me or like, mug me or
That's where you
have
pull
their
your best
way with
Zach
me.
Bagans.
Take my shirt off, like, come at me, bro. But like, yeah. Anyway, I love Zach, but yeah. Sorry, let's get our
Merle,
boy from.
No, Merle just wondered why am I talking in first person. No, I just wanted to agree with you with how adapting. If you're going into a house where they think the ghost is a Catholic, why are you going to speak Muslim religion or Christian religion to them? It makes sense to me. I'm not an overly religious. I'm not a religious person, but I understand the methods with that. How do people take to that? Like if you go in to a Catholic home and you're trying different religious stuff, do they ever get wound up at you?
Yeah, I'll never approach it from a religious perspective, like de facto. I guess it's like, I grew up, I was the only Mustafa in my town growing up. So like I had to learn about other people's religions and cultural practices because I wanted to fit in. I didn't want them to look at me like the weirdo. The only guys named Mustafa in movies that I was growing up in were hijacking planes getting thrown out of them. It's a very different like
The
entertainment.
Lion King.
Oh, Mufasa. Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, your name's Mufasa. It's like, yeah, my name existed 1400 years before that cartoon lion. But yeah, no problem. But it's just like, but I kind of grew up just being very, very like, okay, let me learn about your culture. Let me do this. I don't want to force my kind of belief system or anything on anybody else. So that to me is like a de facto thing. Like I just go in baseline. Let me look at this from an empirical standpoint. But I have, and even in instances where like I have people praying on me and they're like throwing holy water on me and stuff, it's like it's no skin off my back. Like you could do that. Like I've even had like Jehovah's Witnesses and stuff come at my like apartment and you want to convert me if it makes you happy, yeah, all right. Like I haven't put the water on me and everything, and I'll be like, okay, I'm born again. Like I, I don't I don't like if it's gonna help your quota. Like cool, I'm glad I could do that for you. Just don't ask me for any money. I'm not gonna give you any of that. I was like, but yeah, if you want to go and like put holy water on me and baptize me, it's like I got you. Do whatever you want. I don't care.
how do you stay so laid back with this topic?
Uh, I think a lot of it just comes from the fact of like, okay, look, where are people? Where are they coming from? Like, if you're doing it to kind of be a jerk, right? And and force, like, if because a lot of people I grew up with in like mosques and stuff, the only reason they had such strong religious identities is so they could be like, ha, see, this is where I'm better than you. But then a lot of people I've come across, especially on these different events that I do and on the show, is like, no, they're genuinely good people, and this is how they know to show their goodness, and it's in this way. So if somebody genuinely believes that they're caring for me by praying to a god in a way that I necessarily don't believe exists, I don't care because all I care about is their intention. This is a stranger who wants to do something nice for me. Like I'm not gonna pee on that because I'm just like, oh, you're wrong. You believe in something. I don't care. Like
It's nice
you
and
know
can.
yeah, like you know what they're not wrong about. They're not wrong about showing me kindness. So I don't care. That's why I'm laid back about it. So if you could be a turtle that you believe this earth is on and you believe in that, or you can worship a ball of yarn. If you're good to me, I don't care. I'll show respect to whatever you have.
You seem to be kind of a contradiction to a lot of the television stars in the paranormal world out there. You seem very laid back. You seem very comfortable, easy to talk with. Brandon's the same way. And I've met a number of them. And, I've met a number of UFO people and cryptid people that have been on television numerous times. How do you keep your ego in check when so many that I've noticed have really let the mainstream fame get to their head a little bit.
Yeah, I think a lot of that has to do with, and this is something this man has proven to be my best friend and greatest guide, a mentor in my life. His name is David Vadim. He always says, "Do not make yourself more important than the situation. Always make the situation more important." Um, we're human beings, you know. We're a dime a dozen. You know, there's only so much greatness that we can do, and that greatness is entirely for serving a particular situation. We're all going to die one day. That's our greatest unifier is death. And what can we do to make this limited time we have on this world magical? And there's days that we falter in that, and there's days that we thrive in that. But you always have to have that there. So I will give you a very controversial answer as to why I think a lot of people have ego in whatever field. Let's say it's paranormal. And I think it's a lot of times it's because they're fraudulent and they refuse to admit that they're fraudulent. And I think that they are so concerned with maintaining this aura that they've gotten, whether it's by an accident. If it's by an accident, they're going to fight tooth and nail to protect that accident, or they're just gotten so lazy that they don't want to do the work anymore, that they think they're above this now. I've worked too hard. Now I want to have all the rewards of working hard without actually doing that hard work because I've attained this name. You gotta earn it every single day. You gotta get up and get on that hamster wheel every single day. You know, you talk about hockey. Wayne Gretzky was Wayne Gretzky because he practiced more than anybody. Michael Jordan was Michael Jordan because he practiced more than anybody. You know, Cristiano Ronaldo, the Mike Tyson when he was at his best. If you want to talk about anybody who did anything great, they were constantly on top of their game and they were trying to innovate. So I think ego gets in the way is because people want to believe that they're special. Newsflash, you're not. You're going to die just like me, just like you, just like anybody else. So you can have your little, you know, celebrity, whatever that's worth, and goth girls flinging their nose rings at you. But that doesn't really make you feel good here, you know? So I just got to remind myself of that all the time.
With about 90 seconds to go before we go to break at the bottom of the hour, Mustafa, does it bother you when you see people who are in the same position as you kind of pulling attitude with the fans or on social media? You know, you've been at enough conferences, you've been in enough situations to see where it is.
Yeah, I mean, I want to apologize to any fans who send me DMs and I don't answer them right away. I really try to all the time, but I've never gone out of my way to like give like a sassy response to the fans. I have seen some people like do that, and it's just like, you know, why? Like, why? You know, these people basically pay you by watching you and they like love you. Like, why are you treating them like that? It's giving me like bad flashbacks of like when I wanted to show my dad like this cool X-Men comic that I had. He's like, what is this? This is Blue Devil guy. I'm like, it's just Nightcrawler, Dad. I like him. I just thought you okay, go to my room. Like, you know, it's just I don't like it. No, I can't stand that.
Yeah, it's one of the things I know when I went to a conference out east a few years ago, and I got to meet I'm not going to mention their names. I got to meet a couple of stars, and it was amazing how here I was, a fellow speaker at the conference, but I wasn't good enough to hang out with them. You know, they had their
That's
own little
disgusting.
clique. They had their own own little crew that followed them around, and I just kind of shook my head and I just said, "What the hell is this?" You know, you're a paranormal investigator. You know, you're a human, just like I am.
I don't get
I get it. Guys, hold on. We're going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. We have Ghosts of the Great White North. Our main man, Merle, is here. I promise he will say more than 25 words in the next half hour. And from the television series Ghost Hunters, we have Mustafa Gatollari joining us with his tight beard and good ghost stories. We'll be back with more Spaced Out Radio right after this. All right, we're clear, boys.
Random quote of the hour is "Goth girl throwing a nose ring at you."
That's a beauty.
That was good.
That is a beauty.
There you go. Well, when you got to be PG, you get creative. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
Well done.
You're welcome.
Oh my, yeah. I hear you. It's it is one of those things where honestly, I remember seeing these two, and if we weren't still on YouTube, I would give the name.
Yeah.
Okay, I would give the names, and they had their nose so high in the fucking air, pardon my language, that I just could not. I didn't even want to be around them. Like
I've heard horror stories. I've had a lot of people like talk to me about Jason Hawes. I've never met the guy, but like people have been telling me like horrible things about him. I've heard horrible things about Zach Bagans. I mean, you know, I don't know. It's been a lot of people telling me stuff like that. And that's like the worst. That's like my biggest nightmare, is to like somebody who's like, for whatever reason, is excited to meet me and I treat them like dog shit. It's like, who the fuck are you? Like,
I know,
it's disgusting.
I get it.
Weird.
And you know, look, I'm always somebody who will give someone the benefit of the doubt. Maybe you caught them on a bad day. Maybe maybe their dog just died, or a family member was given a diagnosis of cancer or something like that. Everybody's allowed a bad day. You know what I'm saying? But I just, you know, with this, oh yes, Corrins is bringing up a good point here. My booking guy, he says, ask Merle if he's ever been called a twat waffle. You know, and
interesting.
And the funny part of to you, Merle. Yes, no, Merle? No. Okay,
I have.
I just got called one the other day on my own Facebook feed because I told the person I don't allow political talk in my threads. Okay, and all of a sudden I was a never was radio host and I was a twat waffle.
It's a strong insult. Twat waffle.
Yeah. So I said, my God, man, like this guy's been around the media and the paranormal for like 35 years. I said, what are you 12? You know, like
I don't get it, man.
You know?
I also don't get like the need to like why does everybody have to have a political commentary on like what, like if you're that jazzed about politics, go protest, go get a bunch of people together and assemble and do it. It's like you're not doing anything talking about how dumb Biden is or how dumb Trump is or whatever the hell you're doing on social media. It doesn't make any sense.
You're not winning any war. You're not winning any war. You know, but now I just. It's a pet peeve. It's a pet peeve, but I'm okay with it. I got my man Merle, and
that's all you need.
Corey is saying, tell them, can you please tell Mustafa how much I love the Hallmark Channel? Corey wants you to know how much he loves the Hallmark Channel, by the way.
Well, you can let him know I've actually written several Hallmark Channel themed stories for Distractify. I'm sorry, Hallmark Channel. I know I'm assuming that Corey is being very, very, very ironic. The Hallmark Channel is the absolute fucking worst.
I know, dude. I know.
Network.
I know.
I tried. Dude, there was this one Christmas movie. I clicked on the link. Everything was misspelled on the official Hallmark website. They spelled Christmas.
Oh, no.
The T with the S. I was like, how do you do this?
Oh,
you guys.
I could never watch that.
Movie. You copy and paste the description and you do Mad Libs and you fill it in.
Why is the lady who comes back to town always a journalist?
Well, because she's got the scoop on love. Like, I don't know.
Probably. Corey, could you give us an update on that?
Meets the newly widowed husband.
Hold on, Adam. Dave, what's the deal with 100 decibel commercial on your podcast in the middle of nowhere? I don't know, Adam. When we are you saying on on the podcast or the live show? On the podcast side, that is put in by Spreaker. So I'll try and rectify that. Guys, give me 2 seconds here because we're on in like 15 seconds. I want to say thank you to everybody who is giving us a thumbs up, thumbs down. Don't forget, if you're brand new, hit that subscribe button. The super chat is open. It's a great way to support what we do on this show. And here we go. Second half hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really do appreciate earning your listening ears. Want to remind you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. We bring in Merle from the Paranormal Road Trippers for Ghosts of the Great White North. We do it the middle of each month, where Merle comes in, joins us, and we talk all things spooky. And our special guest tonight, because we always have one, from the television series Ghost Hunters, we have Mustafa Gatollari is our guest. What a cool dude so far. What a cool dude. Rocking a good beard as well. Merle, you got any questions? You might want to speak.
I guess I'll talk now.
Holy cow. There he is, everyone.
Let's get into Formula of a Haunting. I'm really digging this. I've watched it all on YouTube. You're digging up previous paranormal evidence and giving it the old debunk. Talk about it. What is it? Tell our audience.
Oh, wow. First of all, thank you so much for the praise of the series. Yeah, but Brandon has been sitting on a ton of amazing paranormal footage from his days at APRA for a long time. And he's been showing me these clips and stuff when we were on the road from Ghost Hunters, and we're constantly talking about, man, it'd be so cool if we can go back to this place, or it'd be so cool if we could, bring what we know now, what we learned, especially in season 2 of the show. Like, how cool it would be to go back to these spots. So he hit me up one day and he said, listen, man, I want to put this footage out on there. He goes, do you mind looking at it and watching this stuff in like long form, and then giving some of your commentary? And I said, why not? Okay, sure, no problem. So I did it, and he's like, you want to record yourself saying some things? I said, okay, cool. So I went and, recorded some things, and and he ended up piecing everything together. It's like 90% Brandon, probably more. Like he's doing all this work, and he put together this really awesome series, and it goes in line perfectly with our book that's coming out this year, which we don't have, we can't officially say the title, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be called Formula of a Haunting. So we have that coming out, and we delve deeper into more of the Ghost Hunters cases that we did on the show, and just show more of like the way we work, the protocol, what things to look out for, how people how people fake or evidence or manipulate equipment. And then we go into the history more in depth for each case and all that. So I'm really, really proud to work on this. And then we basically just wanted to be super transparent about the way we work. There's a lot of ghost hunting shows where, you got people talking to flashlights for 20 minutes, and it's like, okay, well, then what the hell does this teach us about paranormal? How does this move the field forward? So a colleague of ours called it the Grey's Anatomy of the paranormal. And for those of you who don't know, because we've had this come up, it's not Grey's Anatomy isn't just some crappy TV drama about a bunch of doctors boning each other. It's an actual text on a medical journal on which a lot of the basis of like modern medicine's done on. So we wanted to give something like that for the paranormal field. There's some spooky ghost stories in there, obviously, but I think what makes them really scary is the fact that we've looked at that evidence with a fine-toothed comb and really try to rule out any possibility of that evidence being a false positive.
What's your biggest debunk so far with your old evidence in reanalyzing it with your new show?
Ooh, I would say one of the biggest things I think is any type of activity that we got on K2s. I used to use K2s a lot, and the old school tri-field meters. Those things are so easily manipulated. I mean, so easily manipulated. I cannot stress how much, how easy it is to manipulate those things. I mean, you could be 20 feet away, you could have a walkie-talkie, tune it to a different channel, key the walkie-talkie, and it'll set the tri-field going up. So that's something that I'm like, okay, I, I'm not saying it got tripped off, and I'm not saying there's not a possibility of an entity interacting with it. However, seeing as how easy it is to set off, I'm like, I want to throw out any single interaction I've ever had that I've ever gotten with those things.
I gotta ask you. Oh, please go ahead, Merle. You're on a roll here, and
I am on a roll.
Yeah, keep going, man.
Block me, man. We just got another dislike because of our little spat there. I'm kidding. Now, what about phone apps? I love them, man. I think they're so accurate, and I get most of my evidence from them. I bet you guys are the same.
Oh, I'm totally kidding. I'm totally seeing sarcasm.
I was like, how do I crush this man's dreams nicely? I was like, that's the thing, is like a phone app again. There's a difference between, like, listen, you want to go on a ghost hunt, you want to go on a spooky place with your friends, maybe, I don't know, this has happened at some of the events I've gone on. I don't do it, but like, some people like knocking back a few beers, whatever, and they just want to go and have a good time in a spooky location. I don't think that there's any problem with having fun with stuff like that. It's like putting the bumpers on in bowling after you've dropped the tab or something. I don't know, but like, if you're, it's not evidence. But if you're trying to gather evidence and stuff that you're going to use and try to say, like, hey, this is evidence of the paranormal, you can't use that. You can't use a phone app. I'm sorry. It's just, there's way too many things that can go wrong with it that you're using. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't work. It really doesn't.
Now, you and Brandon are, like, from talking to him last month and you this month, you guys are very technical, very tech savvy. You guys are heavy into that stuff. I know that there's a lot of new ghost hunters listening tonight, researchers. Your opinion, because you're a top dog in the field, what would you recommend 3 pieces of gear people should go out and buy versus downloading a cell phone app and crap like that?
So I'm gonna right there. I appreciate that you calling me a top dog, and trust me, my ego is like right now, but I gotta stab it right now.
The beard grew.
Yeah, the beard grew. There's no such thing as an expert in this field, just because there's so little empirical data that we can use to move the field forward. But what I do think you can do is you can employ sound scientific principles along the way, and it's easy to deviate from those. As you know, it's like when you get excited in an investigation, you want to be like, ooh, I want to do this, I want to do that. So I would say there's 2 ways you can go about getting equipment, right? If you have some money to spend, you don't mind dropping a few $100s or whatever, you're going to need a really, really, really good audio recorder. I love the ambisonic microphone. It's 4 channels, and it gives you 360-degree sound. Now, I know on the show we use the binaural microphone, which is great, and we listen live on it. I prefer the ambisonic microphone sound. I think it's clearer, and you could also listen simultaneously while you're trying to conduct EVP sessions as well. And you can set it and forget it and continue along with your investigation. The EDI Plus is a very simple device. The reason why I love the EDI Plus is just because it can detect so many different environmental changes just in one box. You got temperature increase, decrease, EMF, pressure, which is huge, and humidity. And then also, you got motion detecting on it as well, but don't really use it for that. If you don't want to spend a lot of money, there's simple things you can do. You can buy, it's like, I think $11, you can get a barometer just to see differences and changes in barometric pressure. If you want, you can get your cell phone, and then you can use the recorder on that. Maybe find an old microphone, set up, you can get an adapter and set up a microphone to your cell phone, to do that. And you could probably find used microphones on Amazon for nothing, to go and hook up to your phone. They even sell some that you can attach directly to your phone. Most of the cell phones now don't have the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, which is a huge bummer. But you don't need to get like a dedicated microphone for it. And you could probably pick up a used mic for like $20 online. And if that's even too much, a compass is great for detecting fluctuations in EMF. Compass goes all crazy when activity's happening. So you can use a compass, and then you can get like cheap, like Home Depot motion detectors, motion lights, like they don't even have power buttons. You just got to reverse the direction of the battery and then put it in the other way, and you put it there and you set it. And I've had those things trip off sometimes while conducting sessions, like the simplest of devices. So you can go anywhere from spending $30 to $600, and you will find useful equipment in that price range.
I want to ask you, Mustafa, and I ask every ghost hunter this, so this is a question that my longtime listeners will literally eye roll. Okay, I'll be honest with you, I have a lot of respect for paranormal investigations. I have a lot of respect for the paranormal world. Can't stand the paranormal field, and it reflects in what we do on this show quite a bit. And I'll be honest with you, the reason why is very few people can answer this question. What do you do with your evidence?
Oh, wow. Very, very cool. So what we're doing actually right now with the evidence that we gather is we're looking at all of the different environmental conditions that are associated with the evidence. So we're going from everywhere from moon cycle, temperature, time of year, time of night, what the humidity was, what the pressure was in the room at that time. So we have all of these figures, right? And we're aggregating all of that data, and we're compiling it to create something. And you heard it here first, and we'll see what happens with it. But creating something that we're calling hokey, I know, a ghost AI. So it's basically aggregating all of these different, compiling them, measuring them against each other, and then seeing if there are any correlations between paranormal activity and those environmental conditions. So now with the ghost AI, we can predict what the perfect conditions for a formula of a haunting are going to be. So if in one location we notice that after a rainfall or a heavy torrential storm, a 24-hour period after that storm ends, there's significant visual finds or audible audio phenomenon or whatever it is, then we know associated with this location, given the nature of all the different environmental conditions, this is a perfect formula for a haunting. Now we can predict with that AI which locations to go and investigate based off of that AI, instead of just going in blind and spending 14 hours in a location and all you get is like a weird semi grumble for an EVP. You're going to have a lot more ammunition and data that might better inform where you are going to investigate next.
By the way, you just had a really nice orb flutter by your head on camera.
Yeah, I like that.
Thank you for that. But the reason why I asked that, okay, is there, in my opinion, there's a if I was in your position, there would be a responsibility to try and show these weekend warrior ghost hunters how to do this, okay, what they should be doing. And I think, to be frank, a lot of this issue is most ghost hunters, I'm going to say probably 95% of them, have no clue what they're trying to solve. They just want to go out there and play with ghosts. And hey, if that's their prerogative, I'll go have fun. As long as you're not endangering anybody, go have fun. But do you not feel that we should have some sort of light at the end of the tunnel, that there has to be something to this? You know, I mean, let's face it, like you said earlier in the first half hour, we're all going to die. And I know that for many of us, we want to know if there is anything out there beyond going in a dirt hole or into a fire pit and getting our ashes spread around somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what the idea behind Formula of a Haunting was, to just show the protocol and explain how we arrived at certain evidence, how we arrived at a certain phenomenon, the protocols that were put in place, and things that we could rule out. So if you are trying to like learn about different tips and maybe ways to investigate, definitely check out Formula of a Haunting. Obviously I'm going to be plugging the YouTube series that I'm in and helping to create, but Brandon's really doing something special there with that. And I agree though, man. I mean, there's some people in the field who are doing really good work. I was amazed by the work of a gentleman by the name of Kellen Buckley. He's out in Texas, and I forgot the name of his paranormal group. I think it's Lone Star Paranormal. I'm not sure, but he works with this lovely medium by the name of Phoenix, and her daughter, and they work together sometimes. But Kellen is he's killing it, man. I mean, he's got some great ideas for like low cost setups and stuff. And you could probably find him on Instagram. But he was the stuff that he's doing, he's putting all his evidence up there and he's fighting the good fight, But then of course you're always gonna have people who just go on an investigation and they get drunk and then they swear that like, it's like, oh, there's some ooze. I'm feeling some ooze. It's like, no, you just urinated on your stuff. There's no ooze. Like, that was like the South Park bit.
Oh man, how did you work with Grant? How did Grant react to that South Park episode?
Oh, he loved it. He found it hilarious. He's such a good sport about things. He's not. Yeah, he doesn't get like that at all. He's not like, oh man, they make fun of me. No, he's pretty cool about it.
Because I know Whitley Strieber, the first ever South Park episode was about the visitors, which was a play off of Whitley Strieber's Communion, where he gets anal probed. And, hey, the way I would look at it is, if I was ever blessed enough to have South Park create a Dave Scott character, doing a paranormal radio show, which is boring as hell, I would be absolutely just roast the hell out of it.
You've made it. You made it. It's
it.
like Weird Al parodying your song.
Achievement unlocked.
Exactly.
Achievement unlocked.
Exactly. I have one more question before I want to kind of turn things back over to Merle here, because he's only at 24 words now this half hour, and we need to get in 25. But
dude, I carried this half hour. Just saying.
Okay, fine. I'll give that one to you. But Robert Bigelow, do you know who Robert Bigelow is? Mustafa?
The name's familiar.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
He's a gentleman out of Las Vegas who really worked behind the scenes on a lot of UFO stuff. He was a former owner of Skinwalker Ranch. He has a new program out about trying to figure out whether or not there is life after death. And he's put $1 million up for anybody who can write a 250,000 word essay.
Yeah.
That can convince a panel that this is how you prove life after death. So my question to you is, and I realize it's kind of new to you and probably the majority of paranormal investigators who really stay out of the UFO world and the wingnuts there. And trust me, there's a lot of us, but I'm surprised that a lot of paranormal people haven't gone after that or even tried to take on the ultimate challenge.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with what the parameters around what that proof would entail. I mean, I would say that, there's evidence on our shows and stuff that we've kind of captured that's really, really cool. But then I guess people could always counter and say like, oh, that's CGI or that's faked or this is parlor trick or anything like that. Proof of life after death. Well, what we do know is what kind of life are we talking about? What we do know is that matter is neither created nor destroyed. Even after we die, our energy is transferred into another form. So, what that energy looks like, we don't know. Does it have something to do with photon events? We kind of seem to be getting closer to that. I remember, yeah, Brandon actually had sent me that. And I was like, all right, so what's our way of going about this, of proving life after death? Is it life after death in the traditional sense of like an afterlife where, you got gods giving you a full Pizza Hut salad bar buffet and, you get to go and you get unlimited play on all the arcade machines and stuff? Like, I don't know. So I'd be interested in checking out and seeing like what the proof for life after death would be in that challenge, because I think a lot of strong cases can be made for a transferal of energy being documented. Definitely, for sure. But to be able to summon that proof in person with somebody else's parameters at that time, it's finicky, man. I mean, it's really tough. You'll spend hours and hours and hours at a location. I mean, I would say the stuff that we captured in Clifton, Arizona, I mean, but how do you prove that that's linked to death? We saw these weird swirling energy, these orbs moving around. It looked like a scene out of the Poltergeist. How do you prove that's in connection with death? So I think the way to prove life after death is you get an EMCCD camera, you go to somebody on their deathbed in a hospital room, and if I was dying, I would say, hey, do it to me. And I'm probably going to do it if nobody does this by the time I die. But and if I have that ability to do so, but like put in equipment that'll monitor all the different environmental conditions. Put an EMCCD camera on me. Put a FLIR thermal imaging camera or any other type of camera that you can think. Light up my room like a Christmas tree in terms of tech. And then really analyze the footage and the data of what happens in that room when I finally pass away. And I would be really interested to see what would happen. Will there be some type of photon event? What would that look like? So I don't know. I think that would be the only way to really satisfy that challenge. And I don't think many family members or many people are going to be as crazy as me and are willing to do that. But if somebody would, like, hey, man, I would definitely do that, and you'd have to be as respectful as you could with that kind of procedure, obviously. And I don't know many hospitals that would do it, but
that is brilliant. I have never thought about that, in putting your own death up for study.
I would. I mean, Brandon and I talked about it. He's the one who had the idea. And then I was like, yeah, we could do this and do this and do this. And I was like, dude, I made a pact. I told him straight up, I'm like, use this text message as a binding contract. I'm like, if I'm on my deathbed, I'm like, you have total free will to do that to me.
Merle, we got about 45 seconds.
Yeah, no, I just want to know, because what we were talking about before the deathbed thing is, what do you do with the haters and the negative Nellies that just absolutely try and destroy any credibility or evidence you guys obtain?
People are going to believe what they want to believe. I just think that you got to double down and do it for yourself, like anything. Any good person who's good at whatever they do, whether it's a musician, an actor, politician, business owner, you got to do it for you, and you got to do it to make yourself happy. And then, I'm not going to go out there to go and try to, prove to somebody, hey, I'm really investigating the paranormal for my own life. It's not, if we find proof of the afterlife, great. If I can document it, fantastic. That's why I'm here. But if I don't, I just want to fight to do something that matters to me.
Gentlemen, I'm going to get you to hold on right there, because we're going to wrap up hour number 1 here on Spaced Out Radio. We got Ghosts of the Great White North. I'm joined by my man Merle from the Paranormal Road Trippers just outside of Vancouver, British Columbia. Yes, he has been scared and screamed like a banshee running out of haunted buildings before. Our big guest tonight, special guest from the television show Ghost Hunters, we have Mustafa Gatollari. He is hanging on out with us. And we got him for another 90 minutes here on Spaced Out Radio. Paranormal Talk continues after this. All right, gentlemen, we are clear. You guys talk away to the YouTube crowd. I'm just going to run my dogs outside.
Sounds good. Run those dogs.
It's a strong hour.
It is a strong hour.
All right. What do you want to take this? Story time next half hour. Got some good ghost stories.
Whatever you guys want. I got stories galore, and I got whatever it is that you guys want. I can talk about it. We can talk about weird bars we ended up in, or we can talk about on the road
stories versus ghost stories.
Yeah, exactly. Ugh. Clifton, Arizona. I could talk for 5 hours about Clifton, Arizona. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff. What's the YouTube crowd saying? I can't see anything.
YouTube crowd is talking not much.
Not much, huh?
No.
Get it up, YouTube crowd. Put your comments up, bros.
Yeah. What do you want to hear? He'll answer any question you put.
Yeah, I'll answer pretty much anything.
Awesome. Still, I like Formula of Hauntings, cool. I really like, especially the concept of the whole going back on the old stuff, and it's cool. No one's done that, and it's neat because you guys, all investigators evolve from being, well, I don't want to say junior, like more beginner, to like doing it forever, and going back and looking at your early work is.
Yeah, it's really cool, man. I was super. And Brandon's he has this one find, and I mean, people don't even know, man. Like when he shows this, like he got something at the McConaughey estate out in California, and it's hands down the greatest still image captured in paranormal history. I mean, he got an EVP at the Saugus train station. That's going to be on the next episode. Cool. And it's the clearest EVP ever. It's seriously like somebody's just like talking right into a microphone.
Oh wow.
It's undeniable. And I don't know, man. Like to me it's absolutely incredible. I mean, so he's got some really cool footage. And what's really cool about this episode is that he got an EVP of somebody moaning in one location. Then he started hearing stuff at his house. And then he whipped out his recorder, and he got an EVP of the same moaning. But then he took the audio files to like a sound engineer and said, "Hey, these sound similar to me. Are they the same?" So the guy did like a whole full analysis, and they are the same voice.
So he technically got followed home?
I mean, that's what the evidence suggests, yeah.
Wow. Maybe we'll go in on that on air, but like, what's your take on the whole attachment stuff? I believe it. At least
I believe it too, man. 100%. I mean, Daryl refuses to ever go back to House of Wills. He swears he had an attachment.
Where was that one again?
It's in Cleveland.
Okay.
House of Wills is like, apparently it's like, I want to go. We might go there for the book tour when we promote the book, because fucking Adam Kimmel at Madison Seminary is a butthurt douchebag, and he doesn't want. I called him out, dude. I drove over there, and I didn't even tell you. I was like, he was like talking shit about me online. So I was like, all right, cool. I drove to fucking Cleveland. And I was like, what's up, man? Like, I'm at your place. And he wouldn't pick up his phone. He wouldn't answer anything. So I was like, all right. I see how it is.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I liked your guy, the Alaska investigation.
Oh, that's so.
What happened up there, man? That's.
Dude, they didn't even show half of it, man.
That's what I figured. Like too much happened.
Alaska, the craziest thing that happened in Alaska was like, so we had interviewed a witness. The witness started talking about like weird shit that had happened. And one was that he would get paralyzed. And right before he'd get paralyzed, and as it was happening, he'd look up and he would see the visage of an old man. And I asked him, like, what did the old man look like? And he said, well, he was like, like like a black and white staticky TV. So then we're upstairs and we're investigating. We're down the end of this hallway. We have the EMCCD camera. And then we have the EDI. We have ambisonic microphone, 4K lock-off camera. Daryl's wearing his body cam. And I'm standing in the hallway. And then, we start trying to interact and we start hearing like footsteps. Okay, whatever. It could be the building creaking or whatever. But then I can't move my arms. And like it's this pins and needle feeling, and I'm paralyzed for like 5 seconds.
1 minute, guys.
1 minute. So then I'm paralyzed for like 5 seconds, and then I looked to the camera at the time, and I was like, I'm really fucking pissed off. I was like, because there's no way for you guys to know what I'm feeling. I'm like, oh, I can move my hands again. I was like, I really hope we documented something. And then Daryl's like, yeah, it's weird. I feel a tension in my lower back. And then we go, and right after that, Daryl gets charged. And he's like, what the fuck? And he's like, all right, you got me.
Hold on, guys. Hold on, because we only got like 25 seconds. I want to say a big thank you to Fapster for the amazing super chat. It's a great way to support what we do. Thank you for everyone giving us a thumbs up and thumbs down, and all our new subscribers. We're trying to hit 15,000 subscribers before May 24th. That'll be my birthday present from all of you to me, and we're at 10,761 right now. Here we go with hour 2.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really do appreciate earning your listening ears. We welcome back everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they have them on youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. They are free for you. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Kilderkin. Kilderkin is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as a clam sets a password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. We continue on with Ghosts of the Great White North. We got Merle here from Paranormal Road Trippers. He's my sidekick and my co-host for each episode that we do of this. And, of course, from Ghost Hunters, we have Mustafa Gatollari. He is here as well. He's our other sidekick tonight because Merle hates that term sidekick. He really does. You should see him eye-rolling me right now. It's amazing, gentlemen. Welcome back.
We are the Robins to your Batman, sir.
It's the beard. That's all I'm going to say. It's the beard.
This is the best I can do.
Got some questions from our audience for you, Mustafa. And we're going to start off with Kurt here. What is the scariest experience you've ever had at a location?
I would say the one that freaked me out the most was actually in Haines, Alaska. I got scratched in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. My initial reaction was to like laugh at that. I felt something grab me before. My initial reaction was like, whoa, that's really cool. But this one is when I was reviewing audio evidence. We had interviewed a witness in Haines, Alaska, and he talked about this weird paralysis feeling that he would get before he would see this apparition of an old man that looked like it was in black and white static. So I had experienced this in real time, and I was upset because, we didn't get any way to document it in the moment, or so I thought. What had happened was a chain reaction of very weird paranormal events. But after I had talked about like not being able to move my arms, Daryl says in the moment, he's like, yeah, I feel a tension in my lower back. But when we were reviewing the audio, before Daryl says, I feel a tension in my lower back, you hear a gravelly old man's voice say, I feel a tension in my lower back. And then Daryl goes, I feel a tension in my lower back. Meaning And then that same voice. So, okay, cool, whatever. It could be an audio issue. We showed it to sound engineers. They had no idea what the hell it was. But then that same voice, if you, in that episode in Haines, Alaska, when Daryl thought he saw a shadow figure charging him, that you hear that same voice say something. It sounds like, it's me, like somebody walking through or something like that. And it's the same exact voice. And then while that's happening, we get pressure changes on our EDI. And then Daryl caught that amazing body camera footage of a full body apparition of something like peeking out the door at once, and then twice. And then the EMCCD camera captured a mist going through that area. And then at that same time, when all that stuff started to go down, I smelled mothballs out of nowhere. So Daryl gets charged by the shadow figure twice. I am temporarily paralyzed, can't move my arms. We get the pressure changes. We get the EMCCD camera capturing this weird photon storm, and then we get the apparition and then the two EVPs. So there's a ton of evidence from multiple different devices, all being captured in about a 43-second time span. So for me, though, that I feel a tension on my lower back. Like, did it influence what Daryl was saying, or did it predict what he was going to say? So there's a lot to be learned from that. And it didn't make the show. And I asked the producers, I was like, why? And they're like, well, we don't know how to explain it. I said, so? It's paranormal. It's abnormal. That's the whole reason why you're putting it on the show. Like, it was
like
wild.
A gold experience that was missed out on the show.
I could talk for 10 hours about missed opportunities, but I won't.
And you said that Daryl may have gotten an attachment from Alaska. Was it Alaska?
Oh no! If you would have to talk to him more about that, but basically he was talking about the House of Wills in Cleveland, which is this funeral home that was apparently had some type of like satanic affiliations. I don't really buy into like the whole demon stuff, but I did have one personal experience years ago at this place where it was just something there was gnarly. It was just a very, very, I couldn't wrap my head around it. We did everything we could to, like, it was a second cousin of mine, and we needed to help her life get back on track. So had her, fix her relationships in her life, have her going after her dreams, making her life like way better, like going after whatever personal things she wanted to accomplish in her life. But she was still having these really crazy experiences. She did medical tests. I mean, this was like 18 months we worked on this. And then she stayed at her mom's place for a couple of weeks. And then I slept in. This is actually the scariest experience. I don't talk about it too much, but anyway, I slept in this place for, I was planning to stay there for like 2 weeks. I ended up staying there for like 6 nights. And every single night I'd get these dreams that were becoming crazier and crazier and crazier. And then I captured some really weird EVPs there where it was definitely some type of voice speaking in some garbled language that no one could understand. But I think it was the third or fourth night I had this dream. And I wasn't in a relationship at the time. I wasn't married. I didn't have any kids or anything like that. And in this dream, I'm standing. Again, I get goosebumps thinking about it. I'm standing on top of this building somewhere. Looks like somewhere in the Middle East. And I'm holding this baby that's mine. I know this is my baby. I know this is my son. I look down at my son completely callously, no feeling at all. I throw it off the top of this building. And then I wake up and it's like the most horrible thing in the world. So then years later, I'd forgotten for the most part, repressed that way down in the back of my head, like never thinking about that again. My cousin ended up selling this condo, and to this day, nobody lives in it. They had somebody lost like I think a $2,500 deposit on the place because they wanted to go live in it and buy it, and then they moved out after I think it was like a month and a half or something. So about a year after my wife and I were married, a year and a half, we had our son together, Zach, and we're going to visit her family in Egypt and Alexandria. So she's like, we're going to go visit my grandma, and she lives in this old French style building because there's a lot of French influence, and it's this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful structure. My wife doesn't even know the story. She's like sleeping in the living room right now, so she doesn't even know this. But I walk inside this building, and I'm like instantly getting hit with like deja vu, and I'm like, oh man, I get in this like rickety elevator, and there's something about this place that just feels so familiar, so familiar. So then we go up, and her grandma's apartment that she's owned, it's been in the family for like decades, is at the top of this building. So I'm looking around, and I'm getting this like very weird sensation. And then I meet my wife Miriam's family, and I meet her uncle, and he's like, all right, we're going to go do the tradition with every new kid that's born in this family. And I said, what's that? So we're going to take them out on the balcony. I said, okay. I go out on the balcony. It's the same exact balcony from my dream.
Oh God.
And then he's like, all right, you know what we do is we hold the kid like Simba over the balcony. I said, I am not doing this. I went inside. I'm like, I'm not doing this. And then I'm like, I can't watch this. I can't see this. I'm like, it's whatever. And I went inside, and, you know, I went to the bathroom, and I waited till they were done with it. And then I just went back out, and I was like, now I've been to Egypt a couple times after that. It's like I'll go to her grandma's house, but I won't step back out on that balcony. It's one of the most horrifying things like that's ever happened to me in my life, and it was the same exact thing from my dream. I don't know how the hell I saw that.
Weird.
Never even been to Egypt before.
That's nuts.
That
That's
is
scary.
crazy. Let's continue on with audience questions here. And this one's kind of similar to the first one we asked. Wendy is asking, is there a location, Mustafa, that you were so freaked out that you will just not want to return to?
Absolutely not. I'll go back to any place. Maybe I would even investigate that balcony in Egypt. As much as I'm saying now, it's like I'd probably go back as much as it freaked me out.
All right. Corrins is asking, how come we never hear of any ghostly encounters of Bigfoot ghosts or gnome ghosts or any other kind of weird stuff? You know, I'll even take that one further. Dinosaur ghosts.
Listen, my son would be very happy to hear about that. I think here's the thing, right? A lot of the interactions that make it to shows are ones that are readily that can be readily explained by producers, and they think that people are going to be able to explain. But we've come across stuff that's very, very, very weird. And I think a lot of the encounters on paranormal shows are faked. And I think that the people always want to get to the bottom of a murder mystery for every single investigation that they have. Like a lot of comedians will joke, it's always like some Victorian era ghost. Like, you know what I mean? It's never like, you know, my cousin who worked at the gas station who you know, died because he was racing his, you know, imported Skyline too quickly, and he's like, you know, getting all upset that they don't have his favorite soda on tap or whatever at some other place. But yeah, I think it's two things. It's producers don't know how to explain certain phenomena, like the Alaska story, and a lot of the stuff's fake, so they're just going to go and put on whatever they think makes a good storyline.
Aaron wants to know, how long do you think spirits stay in our realm, like historically?
Geez, I have no way to answer that. I think a lot of it's trapped energy, and it stays as long as it stays. If I could equate it to a human experience, I would say, how long are you personally haunted by a crummy moment in your life where you could have done something and you didn't? You made a weak choice instead of a strong choice. I'd say, however, I think that's a lifetime, and I think that in some instances maybe lasts even after death. You know, I should have told her I loved her then, and then, you know, you're 78 years old on your deathbed, and, you know, maybe you're married to somebody you didn't really like that much, you know, or whatever that is.
Who's done that? Who's done that?
Am I right?
Oh my goodness! All right. Like, you know. Michael in our chat room is asking, who is or are the most legit paranormal investigators you've come out with that people may know the names to?
Oh, that might know the names. People I've had the pleasure of working with very closely. I got to say, I mean, Brandon is super, super sincere, and he's helping to move the paranormal field in really exciting new directions. I talked about Kellen Buckley. He's somebody who's not very well known, but I think that this guy is legit, and he's really, really, really great. Just from my experiences working with him. Obviously, Daryl Marston, he's very, very, very sincere and enthusiastic. We've been really lucky with the whole Ghost Hunters crew, with who we've been working with. So we've got a pretty great team together. So yeah, I would say that they're absolutely incredible. Just those are the people that I've gotten to work with.
All right. Sovereign is asking, what do you... Okay, sorry, there's a little bit of a spelling mistake in this one, so I'm just trying to figure out what he means. Have you ever caught any weird EVPs of creatures, whether it's dogs, cats, pigs, cows, Sasquatches, or anything along those that mimicked you or tried to play along during an investigation?
Yeah, I mean, I think that again, that Alaska EVP that got Daryl beforehand. I mean, there was one we got in Waverly Hills where it sounded like there was an entity mocking us. Like it literally sounded like someone going "Ooh," like Brandon said in the show when we were at Waverly. He's like, oh, it's like classic spook house sound. All it's missing is the rattling chains. It literally sounded like one of those things. So yeah, I mean, in terms of animals, it's hard to tell. As you know, if you've gone on investigations, a lot of times EVPs will sound like a disembodied voice, and it usually happens while you're talking to somebody else. It's like somebody's trying to chime into a conversation. So yeah, I don't know if it's animals. Could be. I mean, you don't know.
I've caught an animal EVP. I have pigs, ghost pigs.
Whoa.
Yeah, we've caught cats too.
Yeah, I was the pigs. I was walking in an old abandoned town, kind of like Deadwood, right? Deadwood or Tombstone style town. And it was just me with my audio recorder, and I was passing the old butcher shop, just talking, doing my thing, just by myself, walking up and down before like our night's investigation, and play back the audio, and clear as day, pigs squealing. It was weird.
Holy moly, that's fantastic.
Cool.
At our if you look at Merle's picture on camera, that's at the museum up by my house. And there's a building, there's an old house there. It's probably 120, 130 years old, if not older. And there's a ghost cat in there where you can literally sit on the couch. Our buddy Mark will literally sit on the couch in the men's lounge parlor in the house, and the cat will jump up on him and lay down beside him. And all of a sudden you look at Mark and his hand is like petting a cat, even though there's nothing there.
That is fantastic.
It is the coolest thing. Let's get back to audience questions. Kirk is asking if you've ever dealt with a demon.
I'd say the closest thing was that experience that I talked about in that condo that I was investigating for my cousin. I would say a demon. I don't know. I don't think so. There's nothing I've ever come across that like really felt inimical. Oh, with the exception of that one instance in my 100+ investigations where it felt like, oh, there's something really evil here.
All right, moving on. We have a question from Joe in California who is asking, have you ever had a haunting experience that just made you laugh uncontrollably?
Oh my God, so many, man. I mean, the fact that Brandon and I got locked in the death tunnel at Waverly Hills, and we had asked. We were like, I'm like, there's something or someone here trying to prank us, and I'm telling you, I checked that door. There is no one else locked it. We checked the security footage. Something had locked us in there after I had asked, a few minutes after I'd asked, like, hey, if there's anybody here, do you want to prank us? Because it seems like you're pranking us. And because it was making noises, and then we go and we try to investigate, and I got like so upset. I was like, yo, Brandon, someone's effing with us. And it turned out that, yeah. And then I cracked up laughing after that. I said, oh, okay, that's cool. Like, mess with us all you want. If that's what's going to make you entertain you when you're a ghost wandering an old tuberculosis hospital, please have fun at my expense. You earned it.
Couple of Ouija board questions here. Vin is asking, do you believe in using Ouija boards?
I gotta be honest. I have never once used a Ouija board. I am the wrong guy to ask, unfortunately.
Well, I'll ask the follow-up from Denbub then. Have you ever been on an investigation where you found a hidden Ouija board or something strange?
I'd say the weirdest thing I ever found, and it really upset the owner of the building when I brought it up, were these weird sigils at Madison Seminary while we were investigating that location. And I would say the way that they were positioned, and then I ended up like, it got to the point where there were so many of them, I was looking at everything in the building. I'm like, okay, well, this is a sigil and that is a sigil. I even saw like a taped off triangle on the floor with like lines put through it, and it looked like this Gaelic symbol. And it turned out just to be a shuffleboard. But there's the other weird sigils were all strategically placed on the north, south, east, and western parts of the building. And they appeared to be attempts at drawing symbols from the book of the Necronomicon. The Book of the Dead. They look like summoning spells. We'd sent it out to some friends of ours, and we looked up some of the literature on it, and we just wanted to know more about what they looked like. So that was kind of like the weirdest thing, because then I was like, okay, well, what do these have to do with what's going on? And the owner of the building kind of, he was like, oh, my girlfriend was drawing them for protection, and we're like, okay, well, it doesn't seem like that. And then we looked at some of the other videos and stuff that they were uploading online, and it seemed like they were trying to force a very like negative narrative there, and there was no historical documentation to back up like the claims of abuse. So we talk about it more in the book of what happened there, but that was probably the weirdest thing I ever came across. I mean, it's mostly stuff that people do. I'm more afraid of people than ghosts.
You know what? You bring up a good point, though, because there are so many people, Mustafa, and Mike's dealt with them, I know, and I think almost every serious paranormal investigator has dealt with it, that there is a crop of people, as we got 2 minutes left, who are out there, and no matter what, they're always calling you about paranormal experiences. It's almost like they want that negative attention, so they keep, even though you go in there and you cleanse their house or you deal with the paranormal issue, like 2 days later they're back on the phone with you. It's back, it's mean, it's doing whatever. And have you run across that, people bringing in that own negativity?
Yeah, I think people bring it about in just a variety of different ways. It was like I was talking about before. I mean, people want to feel special. They want to feel special, and if they've gotten attention for having these horrifying paranormal experiences, well, that's how they're special. And it's just a shortcut to feeling special without even doing something special.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I would always like, what got me into paranormal investigating is like, do things that you dream about doing. What was your childhood dream? Go after that. Go after your dream relationship, dream job, dream everything. And trust me, you're going to feel very special, and you're not going to have all these other things happening to you.
Let's sneak in a question from Vinny here, who is asking, what's your favorite ghost movie?
Oh, Frighteners. The Frighteners.
Never seen it. I'm boring that way, though. I honestly am. I am boring that way.
Peter Jackson's best movie, dude.
Wow.
I like The Conjuring. I know. That's my favorite horror movie.
That's a good one. Conjuring's good.
Yeah.
See, mine, the one that scared me the most, and I know I'm going to get eye rolls on this, but I go back like 25 years. Blair Witch Project scared the daylights out of me.
That was the first of its kind.
Yeah.
That scene at the end where he's staring against the wall.
Yep.
Yeah, that freaked me out.
Yeah. I hear you. Gentlemen, I'm going to get you to hold on right there. We are going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. We got a great show going on Ghosts of the Great White North with our buddy Merle from Paranormal Road Trippers, and from the television series Ghost Hunters, Mustafa Gatollari. We're going to continue with this show and talk more ghost stuff with you and your questions right after this on the mighty SOR. All right, we got a couple of questions for you, Mustafa. We ask every newbie this. All right. What's your opinion of eating breakfast foods for dinner?
Oh, I'm all about it. I reverse it. I'll eat dinner foods for breakfast. I had a cheeseburger and French fries for breakfast like 2 days ago.
See, that's okay. That's okay. But breakfast foods are breakfast foods.
Oh, I love it for dinner.
I'll eat it for dinner all the time.
You guys are sick bastards. You know that.
Well,
sick bastards.
And waffles. It's like dinner and breakfast.
Yeah. What are you going to do about it? Sue me.
Yeah, Dave.
You guys are weird.
You're weird.
All right.
I pour maple syrup all over it, singing "Oh Canada" as I do it.
Yeah, I get that. All
At
right.
least he knows our anthem, Dave. At least he knows it.
By the way, Corey's my booking guy is trying to find Kellen Buckley, the Texas guy.
Oh, he's the man. I'll send you. I'll put his IG handle in this chat. I probably have it here.
Okay.
It might be Keelan. I gotta find out, but he's the man.
Okay. The second question. You remember Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
Yeah.
Okay. Devil's Tower in Wyoming, where all the weird stuff happens.
Oh, yes.
Are you on Team Rock or Team Stump?
Team Stump. Team Stump.
1 for 2. 1 for 2. All right. I got to, Mike, my audience hasn't even heard this, but I got to tell you guys this. This past weekend, we had a long weekend here, and I had one of the scariest dreams of my life. And I'm still, like, as of yesterday, I was still having anxiety about it. And I didn't remember it until yesterday morning when I was on YouTube, and I was literally watching an aircraft carrier that they made into an artificial reef. They had a camera angle on that going deep into the water, and it triggered this dream. So I literally, in my dream, I was dead. Okay? And I don't know what it was, but I got thrown into water. And I know I'm dead. I can't move my arms. When I get in the water, I realize that I am dead. Even though I'm staring out of my eyes, I am dead. And I cannot move my arms. I cannot breathe. I cannot kick to the surface. As I watch, everything's bright when I hit the water, and then I start sinking down, and watching that light get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until my back hits the floor of the water. All right? And I'm staring up, knowing I'm dead, staring up, looking at the light, saying, isn't my spirit supposed to leave my body? Am I stuck here? Am I going to watch like fish eat me? And I'm trying to move my arms and my legs, and then I keep reminding myself, you can't move, you're dead. And I'm watching this, and I'm trying to open my mouth to even try and breathe water in, and I can't, because, like when you go through death, they sew your lips together. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I'm telling you, man, I freaked the shit out of myself with that one.
Yeah. Well, psychoanalyst hat on.
You've been awoke.
Maybe you feel trapped by certain phenomena in your own life, and you need to be able to...
Yeah, dude. I'll be honest with you. Like Nikki, one of our people in our chat room, Nikki, she's a great psychic out of Washington State. Yeah. I have her completely trying to break this down right now. Like, what the hell does this mean? Right? Can't figure it out. Can't figure it out. I gotta bounce this chat room so that way I can catch up here.
I sent Kellen's IG handle in the chat here.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'll get that over
brother.
I'll get that over to Corrence, the booking guy. Now, be honest, man. I'm gonna put you on the spot here. This is one of the best radio shows you've ever been on.
1000%.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
1000%. I'm not blowing smoke up. This is awesome. I'm actually proud of some of the responses I'm giving. I was like, wow, this is really good. So
it's casual, man. It's we're not like.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
What kind of gear do you use? Can you tell me about?
We ask that, but in a cool way.
Why don't you wear matching shirts on Ghost Hunters?
Because I left them in your mom's closet. Next question.
Boom! Boom! All right. Here we go, guys.
Wrong answer.
Merle. Merle. We passed the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Thank you so much for tuning us in. My name is Dave Scott. We appreciate each and every one of you hanging out with us. We want to remind you that if you missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Sorry, I got caught up reading the chat room and something funny happened there. Where am I? Oh, yeah, listen to our archives for free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot, reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR, Newswire, much, much more. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Sometimes the audience in the chat room just cracks me right up and I just lose my spot. Anyways, Merle's here. He's hanging out with Paranormal Road Trippers. He is my co-host for Ghosts of the Great White North. And Mustafa Gatollari from the television series Ghost Hunters is here as well. We're talking paranormal all night long. Now, Mustafa, everybody goes and investigates. They always want to investigate Waverly Hills. You've been there. Gettysburg, Alcatraz. If it's a named place, they want to go there so that way they can tick off their paranormal Disneyland. My opinion of it is we're missing way too many cool stories in regards to this. You know, do you find in all of your years of doing this that the best stories are those off the beaten path, maybe old hotels or gas stations or bars or cemeteries that on roads less taken, the forgotten ghost hunting places?
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I remember when we were gearing up to do the second season of the show, for the most part, I would say with the exception of Waverly Hills, there was this, hey, we're going to go to all new spots. And we're like, what do you mean? They're like, yeah, places people have either never investigated before, definitely places that have never been on TV, but like places nobody's ever investigated before, places that have stayed empty for a very long time. So like, good luck. And then, you know, that's kind of nuts because with a lot of different shows, you know, they'll go to new places, but there's always like a rotating stable of like a few. There's about like 80 paranormal spots that everybody always cycles through and they go to again and again and again, and people get excited. It's familiar, they know it, so then they go there. But all of our best finds were at these brand new places. I mean, Fort Stanton in New Mexico, Clifton, Arizona, the whole town, Fort Seward at the Halsingland Hotel in Haines, Alaska, the Glen House in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, Worley Hospital in Pampa, Texas. I didn't even know what Worley Hospital was. I didn't even know Pampa was a place. And then like I went in and we started like researching this place and I was like, holy smokes. Like, so I would agree with that. I think there's an entity there, and they've, or entities, and they've been lonely for a long time. They're going to be very happy to see people come in, and I think it's worth investigating all of these cool new places for sure. Yeah.
Are we overworking the old ones to the point
Yeah.
where is that
Yeah.
even possible?
I think so. I mean, Waverly was like, "Hey, man, we we did a crap ton of runs at Waverly Hills, and we didn't really get anything significant until probably our last two runs. It was literally our last like two or three runs. We did dozens of them. We did so many different runs, and it was like, okay, cool. We're at the final ones. And then we found out, like, oh, there only seemed to be upticks in activity when we started talking about the fact that these entities there are sick and tired of paranormal investigators coming in talking about, like, oh, so you're dying of tuberculosis, like, isn't that rough, like, yeah, they don't want to talk about that. Like, don't come into the hospital, remind me how sick I am, distract me from it, you
How many
dingus. Like,
times have they been asked if they're there and give them a sign?
yeah. So
I have to do that every show with Merle.
You do. I'll knock 3 times for you. There you go. Now that's a demon. Holy Trinity. Shit. I appreciate that you got, like, for the last season you did that and went to uncharted locations. My team up here does that a lot too. We try to go to fresh places that no one's been to because they get hammered. And I don't know, I kind of look like paranormal investigating. You go to a location, it's not a zoo. Like, these ghosts aren't here to perform for you for peanuts and all that sort of stuff, right? They're there. You're there to research. It's not supposed to be like a ride at a museum or like an amusement park. I mean, and I find when you go to a lot of these new locations, I think that's when you get the best evidence because people are like, "Who the hell are you? No one's been here before. Why are you looking like that? Why do you talk like that?" Because a lot of times, I feel they're still trapped in when they could have died. Say it was in 1879 or 1962. I still think that's how they think and dress. When we go to all these new locations up here, we even change how we talk. Like, we'll use period talking of how they probably would have talked back then, or we'll refer to our flashlights or other gear as torches or lanterns versus like a flashlight or cell phone. And I find we get a lot of evidence with that. But yeah, I like Waverly Hills. I would love to do that. It's on my basic B paranormal investigator bucket list. But if I go there, I probably won't get anything, in my opinion, because it's been hit so hard.
yeah, I mean, if you do, listen, it's an amazing place. I think just go there. And I felt the same way about Penhurst. Like, I went to Penhurst, and that was actually my wife's first ever paranormal investigation, was at Penhurst Asylum. And we went there, and it was an amazing time. We had a really, really good time. But definitely check it out. Like, even if you don't get any activity, it's worth going to because they're just such cool places. And Waverly is just such a redoubtable structure. I mean, it has its own zip code, for crying out loud. So yeah, definitely go. And I know Ernie Pack over there at Pac-Man Paranormal. So if you wanted to go, you let me know. I'll talk to him, and then we'll hook it up.
100%.
You know what I would love to see if I could see any paranormal show. If the television producers came up to me and said, "Dave, what do you want to see?" I want to see like MTV's Road Trips, where you get this motorhome that is filled with paranormal gear and some Nerf guns, and you just hit the road to find all of these small, unknown locations, where maybe there's an abandoned military base from World War II that hasn't had people on it for like 47 years. Or maybe you come across some dingy town where half the buildings are caved in on each other in the middle of a forest. That's where I think we are going to get the greatest stories if we're trying to truly tell the history or the knowledge that the other side has with it. And I know that's an expensive feat. because the Nerf guns are getting
really.
expensive. The Nerf guns are, trust me, I buy enough Nerf guns to know they are getting expensive. But I would love to see that, where you could get a group of 5-6 people, go into a big bus-size motorhome, and just start traveling and documenting absolutely everything, and hit everywhere in North America. Like up here in Canada, Mustafa, I don't know how familiar you are with how Canada is, but 90% of the population lives within 100 kilometers or 62 miles from the U.S.-Canada border, which means you have all of these old towns and now ghost towns, no pun intended, going straight up to the Arctic that have never, yes, you are getting action behind you, that are getting, that have never been investigated, never had any type of investigation happen there whatsoever. And I think it would be a great way to tell some of these states or provinces or even countries' histories through the stories of those spirits that have never been talked to.
Yeah, I mean, I agree 1,000%. I had it's so funny. Literally everything you said is exactly what I was talking with other like members of the cast of what I'd want a season 3 of the show to be, or even like another type of series or anything like that. Like, it would be tough to pitch that from a practical standpoint, just because of all the different state laws when it comes to COVID-19 and social distancing protocols. That's still very much in play. But I would say, I think it could work in the sense that like you get everybody vaccinated, and then you stay in a state for 2 weeks, and then you investigate 2 locations per state, and then you drive on, and then you go and you do other cases at other places. An idea that, like I said, with about the ghost AI that Brandon and I are developing, is that could very well be the impetus to decide, where you're going to go next in this location. It's like, ooh, okay, all the conditions are perfect here. Let's road trip it to here and let's go check this place out. It's kind of like that Mystery Skulls. I don't know if you watch Mystery Skulls, like the song Ghost by Mystery Skulls, and they have this great Scooby-Doo-esque series of music videos where it's like, they're kind of like, it's kind of like Scooby-Doo is basically what's going
Yes.
on.
Yes.
But
imagine,
Great White North, man.
Imagine the mysteries you might be able to solve, though.
I agree. I mean, or just the fun that you'll have. That's the thing that I think
too
excites me the most. I mean, you're able to go out there and like do this work and this research on the road with like people who are as enthusiastic about it as you. I mean, that's the dream right there, man. But I think it's cool in the sense that you're able to go and find these new locations, ones you'd never probably be able to find before. We drove by, man, when we were on our way to Thibodaux, Louisiana at St. Joseph's Plantation. Like, we drove by places that, like, that house hasn't had electricity for like 300 years. Like, it's pre-America, some of these houses, man. Like, I couldn't believe like how old some of these structures were. And I was like, oh my God. And there's like, folks living in them, and people coming out and walking to the gas station, and you're like, you live in that like house? It's like, it's crazy. And yeah, there's parts of America, and I'm sure there's parts of Canada and stuff where it's like you'll find people who are so off the grid, or buildings that are completely untouched by time, or just maybe a small subset of families live there for a while and they're just completely forgotten.
See, whether you love it or hate it, and I know Merle's not really a fan, but I think the way the series Hellier has been documented, never mind chasing goblins or whatever the road they've gone on, some will agree with it, some won't, but I think that style of television show would work. Maybe not on a mainstream network like you guys are on, but on a Netflix or an Amazon, I think it would completely work to go road tripping, going to look up all of these legends. and
No, I would
these stories.
love that. I've been saying that for the longest time. I said, like, I mean, as great as it was to have breaks in between filming for my own sanity and to see my family, but I was just like, listen, let's do it 10 weeks in a row. Let's hit the pavement. Let's hit the road. And literally, we start at one part of the country and we drive through to the other part of the country and we stop at places along the way. And if we have to take a break to go and shoot more episodes, we'll take like a week or two break and then get back for another like 8 or 10 weeks in a row. I just want to do it like that. I love that. I think
That would be the best way to do it. That'd be totally pure and natural.
I agree.
Don't forget the Nerf guns.
Nerf guns.
Oh, I mean, that goes without saying.
Exactly. No, but I don't know. Maybe it's just a cosmic dream of mine in order to do that. But I just think it would be great, even though I'd have to fly home every night to host this show. You know.
We'll get you a high speed thing that you could do.
Yeah, I need a UFO. I need a UFO in order to do that. But as we got about 9 minutes here before we got to go to break at the top of the hour, Mustafa Gatollari and Merle are here for Ghosts of the Great White North. When you look at any location, whether it's in the United States, let's stick with North America here. Is there a dream spot that maybe we know about or don't know about that you would love to get your hands into? Would it be something like an old sports stadium or a concert hall or another asylum somewhere?
The White House.
No, man, to be a fly on the wall there.
Oh,
yeah.
Go.
Just the White House, dude. I mean, that's yeah. There was actual. So Craig Peligian, who's the I'll say it, Craig Peligian, who's the head of Pilgrim Studios, he had a connection to Donald Trump. So there was a talk of us potentially getting the shot to investigate the White House. And once, I think they were saying it in jest for the producers, but the second that seed was incepted into my head, all I could think about every single day was like, anybody would be like, what's your dream location? The White House. Like, so if I could invest, I'm like, I never even thought about that before. And now I'm like, it's all I think about in terms of investigating.
Apparently, Jenna Bush, George Bush Jr.'s daughter, has spoken out publicly about the hauntings at the White House. But she has.
I'm gonna talk to her.
That's who you need to talk to. If you can get a hold of her, she has stories.
Dude, I'm sweating. I'm not even kidding. This is like.
Apparently, you have to talk through her people. But apparently George Bush's daughters had some real weird stories from the White House, but they aren't allowed to talk with them like overly publicly. Like, if somebody says, well, it was the White House haunted, we saw some strange things. But apparently it was weird in there. Completely weird. How about for you, Merle?
Ultimate location to investigate. He's planted the White House in my head. That would be pretty neat to do. I like the Wild West. I know a lot of people hit like Tombstone and Nevada and all that hard, but that's what I'd love to do. Or like Deadwood in the fall or coming into winter when it's absolutely quiet would be heaven for me. I'd be good with that.
I'll tell you my dream spot. It would be the old Montreal Forum. Because since the Montreal Canadiens moved from the Forum to the Bell Center back in, I believe, 1994 would have been their first season in the Bell Center, they have not won a Stanley Cup. They haven't even come close. And there are many people who believe that leaving the Montreal Forum put a curse on the hockey franchise, so much so that a couple of years ago, a paranormal team went in there to try and move the ghosts of all of the legendary hockey players from Howie Morenz to Rocket Richard to move the ghosts over to the Bell Center to help the Habs start winning cups again. And it hasn't worked. And that,
you're gonna have to.
That would be the ultimate location, because the Forum now is part of a shopping mall. but they've left certain parts of the old hockey rink together. But that's where I would love to go. I think that would be like, for me, being a diehard hockey fan growing up, and it would be the ultimate for me going into the old Forum and seeing if we could connect with a lot of those legendary stars. It would be perfect. It's like Yankee Stadium before they turned it into a parking lot.
That's amazing. I mean, yeah, now that I think about it, it probably could be haunted. I mean, the Golden Knights in their first year made it to the finals. So, like, I don't know what to tell you, man.
No, but if you think about it, I mean, could you imagine, like, why hasn't anybody gone to Woodstock and investigated where the stage was?
The hippies smell too much, man.
Well, true.
Like, the stank is still there.
But could you
That's a
imagine?
great idea, though.
Could you imagine running into Jimi Hendrix there?
Oh man, I want his bandana. It's just lined with acid tabs.
Oh,
Let it take over.
But I mean, those are the places. This is how my mind works. Everybody, well, let's go to Waverly Hills. Have you got tuberculosis in a tuberculosis hospital? Not me, man. Let's go to Woodstock. See if Jimmy's still playing on stage. Or
That's actually very cool. Or you go to like old Vegas like casinos and see if you can get Elvis up on the stage, get the king over there.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That'd be dope.
Even go to Graceland.
Yeah, go to Graceland.
Graceland would be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. But why isn't that imagination used by the majority of paranormal teams out there? Is it copycatting by what you guys are doing on the big television shows, or is it really that lack of imagination?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's lack of imagination. I mean, you could see it even in a lot of the methodologies that people employ. Everybody's really afraid to kind of like, I don't understand why paranormal investigators, especially on shows, are so afraid to look dumb. I'm like, people think you're dumb for ghost hunting anyway, so it's like, just you might as well go big with it. Like, like I get ridiculed left and right for being a paranormal investigator.
100%.
Yeah, so I'm like, I don't care. I'm willing to try anything for that. So, I think the more you're willing to fall on your face for things, the more you save face, really, because it just shows that you're trying to give more to a situation. So yeah, 100%. Like, let's go to Graceland. Let's go to, I don't know. Let's go to like old blues, like, venues in the South, like where blues was.
Oh, that's good.
Find the crossroads so you can see if you can get a hold of Robert Johnson.
Yeah, exactly. Or find the room that Rod Stewart woke up in with Maggie. Like, you know what I mean? Let's see what's in.
Why did you break up? Not twice.
Yeah, but I mean, why can't we have fun with it, though? That's the big one. Like, I don't care about finding the Manson house, okay? I don't care about, anything like that. Bring me to some good locations that I can actually enjoy, I mean, you just imagine Madison Square Garden. Wonder if Muhammad Ali...
Sanders' house.
Exactly.
What's the secret recipe?
Come on. We need those essential herbs and spices. 11 herbs and spices, But could you imagine Muhammad Ali in Madison Square Garden?
That would be dope.
And potentially hearing the stands, the people in the stands. That would be phenomenal. Phenomenal.
That's where you could use the "come at me, bro" line when you're trying to talk to Muhammad Ali.
Come at me, bro.
Oh man. But I don't know, man. I just think that we're so limited to what we are doing and how we are doing it. I mean, you guys, your producers, damn well should be going to like Madison Square Garden and places like that. That would be top notch.
Yeah, man. I mean, they have a lot of. I like a lot of the spots that they picked, but like, yeah, I see what you mean. It would be cool to get things that are. That's the thing, is like they're always afraid of getting way too jovial with something, you know?
I
They're
know.
always afraid of getting way too jovial with something. And I think a lot of that has to kind of do with the self-serious nature of a lot of viewers that, yeah.
Gentlemen, I'm going to get you to hold on there. We have Mustafa Gatollari and Merle of Ghosts of the Great White North and Ghost Hunters television show for another 30 minutes. Then we're going to get to the SOR Newswire, and the thought of the day, Spaced Out Radio, continues with Hour 3 next. All right, we're clear. I'm just going to take my dogs out, and I got to make a bathroom run. I'll be right back.
Do it, brother. What a guy.
He's a good guy. Classic Dave right there.
He's a class act.
But yeah, no, we love the unexplored areas. That's like what we aim for. This summer we have a couple really good locations. We have one in the central interior of British Columbia. It's an old abandoned silver mine, untouched. There's an actual.
What's it called?
It's called. I can't say it on the air.
Dude, no joke. We almost went to a silver mine in British Columbia instead of Alaska.
Oh, really?
Yeah, producers were asking us to like make sure we all had our passports and everything to like go over there. We almost did a place in Hawaii, which I was very upset we didn't go to. And then I'm just kidding. I don't care about the beach. And then or that silver mine or Alaska. And they ended up sending. I'm like, please don't do Canada. Please don't do Alaska in February. I'm not interested.
Cold.
And then they freaking sent us. I was like, just send me to Hawaii so like I can wear shorts and a t-shirt.
Especially in February.
Yeah, they oh my god. But you know, Alaska ended up being probably the best evidence we ever captured. So
yeah, that's my favorite episode. I like that.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, no, the silver mine, it's really neat. So it's it's from the 1800s, and then if you go up the road a little more, there's another abandoned town that was part of the silver mine called Cody. It's all these just like there's an old post office that's completely abandoned in the 1800s, like everything. It's neat. And then we're going to another place about 3 hours from there in the middle of nowhere that it's kind of like a ghost town graveyard.
Sweet.
These people, they're wonderful. There's so many abandoned towns in British Columbia that are like a dime a dozen. You just drive down the highways and they're everywhere because there's been so many gold rushes up here and everything. These people buy the buildings, they take them apart piece by piece, including the furniture, including the wallpaper, and it's like a giant Lego puzzle, and then they put it together on their property. We went there last year. We've been one of the only teams to ever go there, and I think it's there's a hotel that they built there, original hotel from a different area. That was probably one of the scariest buildings I've ever been in. I don't know if you've ever been in a building where it feels alive. Like you can feel the energy, the spirits all around you, kind of like you're watching.
Glen House was like that, yeah.
And I've never, I'm so attracted to that hotel. I can't wait to hit it again.
What's it called?
The Bellevue Hotel.
Bellevue, very cool.
Yeah.
When are you going?
We're going in July. I told Brandon actually. He's like, if there's no COVID. So.
Yeah, because if I can come in, I would definitely make the trip for that.
Okay.
I can tell from the way you're talking about it, it's really cool. I would love to go.
I'll send you some evidence in the video I shot on Instagram.
Send it over to me, dude. I would love to come up. Yeah, Canada in July is perfect. That's a good time to go.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
and it's all booked. It's all good to go.
All right, sweet, cool. I'll talk to my wife. Hopefully, we'll be able to do that.
COVID needs to leave.
COVID needs to get
tell me about it. Tell me about it. I had one of my listeners blasted me last night how she was listening to the show while sitting in a bar in Caesar's Palace last night. I'm like, I hate you.
Yeah,
Dave, you should see the place I'm going to in March for my birthday investigation.
Mm-hmm.
The old courthouse in Powell River. It was built by the Canadian government. Powell River is kind of a remote town on the Sunshine Coast, on the ocean, and they had prisoners there that they would take there and transport them to the mainland of Vancouver. They got a ton of jails, like in the basement there, that's never been explored by our type. So.
Mhm. You know, Mike and I were doing a paranormal investigation out at a plane crash site here, and we got chased out of the area by 2 Sasquatch.
Please tell me you have footage.
No, Mike wasn't rolling when the one started talking to us.
Are you serious? I'm gonna be straight up. I believe in Sasquatch.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like
that one.
Straight up.
That one got what, 20 feet from you, Mike?
I don't even know how to explain it, man. Like the noise it was making, because Dave's known me forever. His listeners have known me for a long time. I'm extremely about Sasquatch and aliens and that stuff. But I can't explain what we heard.
Oh
Dave, make the noise. You make the noise good. I can't do it.
Have you ever heard the Sierra sounds by Ronald Moorhead?
Yeah.
Okay, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, twice.
It was like that?
Twice.
Yeah, it's weird, man.
Yeah.
Like,
holy smokes.
Yeah, dude.
You think it could have been a Wolverine?
No. Because there were 2 of them. They cordoned us off in a little cul-de-sac area, and that they had there for the recovery vehicles. And Mike was to the right of me, and this thing was like 20 feet from him, and our buddy Mark was about 100 feet from him. He had the rifle with us, and there was something coming at him bipedal.
You know what's crazy is that every single culture has their own version of Sasquatch.
Yeah, hold on, gentlemen. Here we go.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio has kicked off. Thank you so much for tuning us in tonight. We really do appreciate you listening to us, talking paranormal all night long. We want to say hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. All of our archives are free for you by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Gildurkin is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. For the final time tonight, we introduce Ghosts of the Great White North. We got Merle here, my partner from Paranormal Road Trippers out of Vancouver, British Columbia, and Mustafa Gatollari from the television series Ghost Hunters. And we're talking to these guys until the bottom of the hour. And gentlemen, welcome back.
Hello.
Hello, Dave. This has been a very quick show.
Very fast show. Very fast show tonight. Mustafa, you get a lot of people who will come up to you and say, I want to be like you, man. I want to have that television show. I got some really good footage. I got some really great ideas. How do I do it? How do I get myself in front of the camera? It isn't that easy, as we all know. But I'm curious in regards to you and people coming up to you. What advice do you give new ghost hunters or people interested in getting involved in the field?
Yeah, I would say, you have to always, you have to always be working from a place of honesty for yourself. So it's always for you. I'm very lucky to be part of a group of creatives in New York, and we meet like twice a week. I actually had a meeting with them over Zoom before we did our podcast. So right now, before we're doing this, a few hours before that. So we're constantly kind of working on our own personal things that get in the way of us individually not being the artists or creatives or whatever it is that we want to be. And I know that sounds all like hippy dippy stuff, but it's true. What are the things that get in your way of you going after what you need to go after? For me, it's a very specific thing. So if I'm constantly working with that, and if I'm constantly acknowledging that, no matter what situation I'm going to be in, I am going to have energy to attack what I need to attack in any given situation. I don't know if that makes sense, but how does that play into becoming a paranormal investigator? Well, if what you're dealing with emotionally is something that you can't do, which is this thing that my personality that always gets in the way of me being happy, you cannot BS anybody about what you're doing. You have no choice but to deal with things in a very, very real way. It's like why you're able to be brutally honest with your friends or your significant others or your family members, like, siblings. You're going to get brutal with them, brutally honest, because you got to live with them. So it's like, I have to live with this. So it's the same thing with your own personal demons, so to speak, if you want to call it that. So if you're constantly doing that and you're working on that every single day, when the opportunity presents itself to you to be in front of a camera or in front of network executives or such and such, you're going to be so well trained in honesty and delivering honesty for you and being enthusiastic about the things that you're enthusiastic about. You are going to come off as interesting on camera. Why? Because you're personally interested in something. The main problem a lot of people have when they're trying to pitch themselves to TV shows or anything like that is that they become more interested in getting on TV than they do in the actual subject matter.
And they can't lose sight of your craft.
Exactly. And that's like very much easier said than done, but you got to rehearse for that. You've got to know how to weave that in the moment. They sat me down on a chair in a dark room with a big floodlight on me. There was like, I think 9 people in the shadows. I couldn't even see, all watching everything I said, every move I made. If I was concerned about getting on a TV show, I was done. You wouldn't be talking to me right now. It wouldn't have happened. But because I'd been working this way for years and years and years and years and years, it didn't just fall into my lap. Yeah, there's a certain amount of luck that came into it. But that being said, I was the only member of the team who sent in an audition tape. Everyone else was reached out to by Pilgrim Studios. I sent in a tape, 3,300 and something people. And I went in, and then there was like I think it was like 32 people that I had brought in for the specific casting call. And they got called off. And then it was me, Brandon, Daryl, Brian, Rochelle, Kristen, and somebody else who they brought on, which I thought was very cruel. And she came on to, I think, 3 cases, and then they cut her off, and she wasn't. I just knew there wasn't going to be enough time for her. The team was too big, and I just had a feeling that I'm like, oh, she's not going to be in the show. And then when they sent her home for one case, and they tried to like mollify it and say like, oh, it's just this location's small. Brandon just looked at me. He's like, how'd you know? I was like, dude, I could tell. It's like, what are they bringing to the table? For the investigations, and yeah, it was a cutthroat thing, but I loved my reaction to it. The audition process was crazy, but I'll just tell people like, it's not going to happen overnight. And if it does happen overnight, it's the worst thing in the world to happen to you because it happened to you. You didn't really have a part in creating it. I went out to the audition. I didn't even know I was going to take the job from 2 days before I did it. I'm like, oh, you're going to be on TV. You're going to be this. And I was like, I was making like I was making more money doing what I was doing before I got the show. You know, I'm always a hard worker. So for me to go out and I've been working 4 jobs at the same time for the past 7.5 years. So that's not a, you know, to do the paranormal investigating. It's like cool. I get paid to do what I love. But yeah, I think you got to be working with your own personal stuff that gets you in trouble. This gets you away from your dream. You got your personal crud here, your dream here, and then the situation here. So the war between these two things and how do they fit into the situation, and then instant trauma.
What's the one question that you get asked the most by people who are wondering how to get into this, how to get that TV show? What's the one where they just kind of look at you and you know, you just tuned me out because I gave you an answer that you didn't want to hear?
I think the answer that they get tuned out to is what I just said, because it's a lot of work and nobody wants to do that. But I think the one question everybody always asks is they always ask they don't even, it's not even a question, it's kind of like some weird smirk. They do this thing, it's this real Jersey thing. They're like, yo man, hook it up. Like, hey man, hook it up, like get me on TV. And I'll be like, I can't do that. Like, you know, like I'm some scumbag who should be making sandwiches for a living, and you know, he just happened to seize an opportunity because he's been rehearsing for seizing that opportunity for such a long time. So when it presented itself to me, I got lucky in that regard. But I don't know, man. I mean, you gotta, opportunities open themselves up for people who work towards things that really, 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 really make them happy. And if you kill yourself for it, that's going to come off of you. I think that's the only thing. And if you don't get on TV, it's not like, okay, it's no skin off your back because you love what you're doing so much. So like for me, if I never get another ghost hunting show, I'm still going to be writing about it. I'm still going to be doing investigations. You know, I might not be able to do it as much because I'm not getting paid to do it, but I'm still going to do it.
I hear you, man. I hear you. You know, when you look at all the places that you have investigated, I mean, you live a pretty blessed life, man. I mean, you have a beautiful family. You get to do something in life that you want to do. What are we missing in the paranormal? What should we all, or what is Mustafa striving for here?
Oh man, I want there to be I want people to take it further, have more of a follow through. I guess that's what it is with myself. Like, you know, have more of a follow through. Okay, cool, you did this, you got this evidence. How can you take it further? What can you do? Because if you're not taking it further, you're stagnant. And if you're stagnant, it's not good enough. So you just gotta constantly, because that's what excites you. Otherwise, you're just doing the same thing over and over again, you know? And it loses its luster. What's great the first time is not great the second time. You know, you got a chocolate, the first time you had chocolate ice cream, that's great. And then when you were a kid and you had a banana split sundae, that was amazing. And then you put M&Ms on it, you're like, that's even better. And you always want to add more, whatever it is, or whatever that new thing is, you know? Now I'm just like, I love making a perfect grilled cheese sandwich. I just want to get everything just right. And it's like, how much further can I take that? You know, whatever that is. So I think just putting the evidence through its paces, finding out ways to go bigger with more experiments, and minimizing false positives as much as possible, and just going further with that.
Do you ever get frustrated? Maybe not with the television show, because we always get frustrated. Everybody gets frustrated at work. But with the field in general, do you ever get frustrated and say, you know, this is way out of control? Or have you noticed that since you've taken on the television show that you've really had to back up from the public eye, on aka social media, in order to even keep your own sanity?
Yeah, I think it all just depends on like, where's the conversation headed? Is it headed in a place that's like you're trying to get something done, or is it heading in a place where I'm just going to be like, well, you know, my ghost hunting stick is bigger than your ghost hunting stick. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm better than you at something, or you don't know what you're talking about. I think my biggest disappointment kind of comes from, you know, if you're not contributing to my narrative of authenticity in the field of what I see as authenticity, then you are excommunicado. Like, you know, you are blacklisted, so to speak. And I just don't think that that's cool. Not only is it not cool, it just shows, I think, fraudulence on somebody's part. It's like you're not celebrating what I think is the right thing to celebrate. You're not engaging in para-unity. It's like, well, hold up, like nobody said anything about a specific person individually, but it's like, you know, I'm all for para-unity, but I'm not for, hey, you know, rubber stamping your brand of fraudulence or what I deem to be fraudulence or insanity, just because you're a fellow paranormal investigator. I won't do it. And that's the thing that gets me like upset. And I won't go out of my way to call somebody a quack, but you know,
social media though has probably some of the cruelest people on there, and I don't think they mean to be, but because they're hiding behind a false identity, a false name, a false character, it's easy to be able to lambaste somebody. And I think we've kind of forgotten over time how words can hurt. I really do. Yet you guys being in the spotlight, not just you, but I mean Zach and his crew with Ghost Adventures, you know, Jason and his team, you know, there are a number of people who are absolutely ruthless and callous on social media when it comes to these shows, or you know, they'll critique you to a point where it's almost painful to read. Do you read the comments that are on there about the show or about yourself, or have you been disciplined enough to kind of stay away from that type of negativity that can drown a person? And you know, I know for myself, suffering from depression and anxiety that I do, I could get 100 positive comments, but there's always that one that just stabs you and pierces your heart.
Yeah, I mean, I see them. I know a lot of times it's trolls. I think a lot of times it's trolls from like rival paranormal shows that do it too, believe it or not. But I don't know. It's like I look at where the criticism is being held. I mean, you know, again, take yourself out of it. You don't have to like me. I don't care. I really do try to do my best to be a good person. And I think for the most part, I am a good man. And I try to see that in evidence, you know, in terms of what I do for, you know, for people who are close to me. And I really, really try to stand up for being a good person. So if somebody wants to go and be like, Mustafa's an idiot, or he giggles too much, or, you know, I can't take him seriously, that doesn't really bother me too much. But I will, if somebody's pointing out a valid flaw in the way we're doing something, or a suggestion as to like, or criticism is like, you're stupid, why didn't you think of doing this? Like, yeah, you could have phrased it differently, but that's a valid concern. And I will thank people for pointing out times where like, hey, oh, we could have taken this further. So again, it sticks and stones may break my bones, you know. You can call me whatever you want. I promise you my dad's called me worse. So it's like I don't care, like, you know, what you have to say. But yeah, I do know some other members of the team get really, really down and out about it. And I also just don't like liars. Like, you know, people who just like straight up lie about something, or people who they start playing the victim card the second you throw it back to them. So it's like, all right,
can't win. You can't win.
I find dealing with paranormal teams like that scene out of Anchorman when all the different news anchors meet in the alley. You know it. You've seen it.
Yeah, it's a great scene.
You know,
it's like that.
No touching the hair or the face.
Each other. Yeah,
of course.
I stabbed a guy with a trident in the heart.
with a
I
K2.
saw that. You should probably lay low for a while, Brick. I love that scene.
You know, it was funny when I was working in a newsroom in Vancouver when that movie came out, and I will tell you this: almost everything and the way people treat each other in a newsroom was portrayed perfectly in that.
I
And
love
I remember, true story, I remember my buddy Peter was working in traffic and I was reading the sports. And you read literally every word. Well, because of the program we had in the newsroom, he was actually able to manipulate my script from his office. So
no.
so instead of like using my name on the sign out, he put I am a fat ugly pig, and I almost read that on the air because you're so concentrated on reading the words. So you know when Ron Burgundy says
Yeah.
go blank yourself San Diego, right? It's totally true. And cuz you can
Yeah.
actually do that, right?
That's the best thing anyone's ever told me. It's like finding out Santa Claus is real. That Anchorman portrayed the newsrooms in
Oh
an
yeah.
accurate way. I am so happy. You've made my night. This
Oh
is
yeah.
incredible.
Oh yeah. I'll tell you some other stuff off the air, but I mean that's just the way it is, you know, with anything. Gentlemen, we only got this show has flown on by, and I know they all do, but we've only got about 3.5 minutes left with you guys tonight. Mustafa, I want to kind of ask you kind of a deep question. What advice do you give anybody who is experiencing the paranormal but doesn't know where to turn because they've heard shows like this where we try and forewarn people, look, don't just Google the first team that comes across your Google search, you know, don't pay or there's good people out there, but make sure they're doing it for the right reasons and not just their own entertainment. What advice do you give to people who have hauntings going on right now?
Yeah, I would say try to find some local teams. You're probably going to find people. I mean, we're everywhere. There's ghost freaks everywhere, and see, vet them. Look, look, are they somebody you'd probably be okay with going out and hanging out with? Get a drink or go bowling with. If not, maybe don't let them into your house. Check them out online. Talk to them a little bit. Give it some thought. If you're worried about a haunting harming you, or you being in danger in any way, I would say that again, I've only ever come across, and the worst thing it did was give me bad dreams. Anything in negative like that. For the most part, it's people. Talk to them, and if you don't feel comfortable talking with them, then find somebody who you trust is a respectable person who shows compassion and respect towards the entities, and have them talk to them. You know, so that would be the biggest thing that I could find. Hit up social media, and if you don't have anybody and you're out in the middle of nowhere, then you got to face the proverbial boogeyman. But I think once you do, you'll find out that it's really not that scary, you know. And if you feel like you have an attachment, just tell them sternly but kindly, "Hey, this isn't cool. Please go away." And everyone I've talked to who's had attachments or anything like that bothering them, it's stopped as a result.
Oh, who hasn't had a little attachment every now and again?
Just a little,
Just
just a little.
you know, it's like throwing a little bit extra garlic on.
Just
My followers.
a little more black pepper on the salad. It's just like right
Exactly.
there.
How many attachments you want tonight? 1, 2, 3, 4,
I'll
5,
take
6?
4.
Exactly. You know, but I think that's important advice though, because so many times we don't know where to turn. And there are, let's face it, the paranormal field, because there is no governing body, because there are no rules set in place, if anybody's going to take advantage of you, you know, like psychics who say, look, for an extra $1,500, I could clear your past lives too. You know, just be prepared, be watchful, because there's a lot of people looking to take advantage, correct?
Hmm. A lot of times, yeah. You just got to be mindful of it, And I'm not saying that psychics are, quacks or anything. I've come across some who are truly truly gifted and told me some great things, but you know, be aware of the cold reading techniques and specific psychic techniques that people use. They start vague and they try to see what cues, and try to be very deadpan whenever you give information to psychics. I would say to vet their accuracy, because they try to read your body language to see what you're responding to.
Very true. Merle, another great show, buddy.
It was a fantastic show, Dave.
You were awesome.
Said 54 words.
54 words. That is a new Merle record here on Spaced Out Radio for Ghosts of the Great White North. And Mustafa, I want to say a big thank you and continued success on Ghost Hunters with you and that great crew there. And we'll stay in touch, my friend.
For sure. Love it.
Thank you.
Merle and Mustafa, Ghosts of the Great White North. Wrapping that up. We got the SOR Newswire coming up, along with the thought of the day. I had to think about that for a second. We'll be back. Spaced Out Radio next. Good job, boys.
It was a good show.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Give you a few claps there. Yeah, that was great, man. That was great.
That was cool, dude. That was really awesome, man. Loved it.
Rock and roll, man. Rock and roll.
That was dope. That was really good, man. I had a good time. That flew by, dude. That felt shorter than some 40-minute podcasts I was on. Holy smokes. That was really good.
It's because I got a face for radio, man. Face for radio.
That's one of the best Rush songs ever, though. Spirit of the Radio.
Oh, yeah. Hold on one second here. You know, it's that time of the night, everyone, where I have to take care of my beard, and I use Mighty Moose Beard Oil. Go to mightymoosebeard.com. Check it on out. We'll give you a little demo here where we just open up the bottle, squirt it into the hands like so. Then make sure you seal up the bottle because you don't want to spill it. And then you just massage it in. That's it, man. Just massage it in. Takes good care of my beard. My beard never feels horrible. Has a nice little sheen on there. And then if you got nice hair too, the ladies can use it too because it kills the split ends. All natural products. No chemicals. Go to mightymoosebeard.com. Gary the Dutchman there. You never get a deal from a Dutchman. But Gary the Dutchman, he is actually going to give you a percentage off if you use promo code SOR2019. So go to mightymoosebeard.com. Get your moose oil today. It's all Canadian. None of that New York City stuff. There you go. There. Now we're done.
That Yankee swell.
I am a Yankees fan.
Cool.
I think I'm a Brewers fan.
Oh, man.
Tremendous.
I never seen you do an ad before. That was like right out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was great,
I know.
man.
Had to
Dude,
do it.
I want some of that now.
Had to do it. Mighty Moose Beard, man. It's good stuff. Gary actually does a good job. He's out of Chilliwack, Merle.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Tremendous hair.
It's fantastic. No male pattern baldness whatsoever.
I am so jealous.
You want some? I can give some to you.
I'll take it. 1,000%. That is fantastic.
Yep. Your wife will be like, where did you get that? Oh, well.
Don't worry about
Dave
it.
got it for me.
Do you like it? She's like, you look like Rogue. You look like Sweeney Todd.
Oh yeah. I even lend Merle some every now and again. I'll be honest with you, I have extra beards here in the studio.
That's weird.
I do. I got 3 extra beards. I got 2 listeners' beards and my old beard sitting in the studio here. So if you need a beard, I can lend you one.
I have no problem growing a beard. I would like the top of the hair. I will take that. I will take it, glad.
Yeah. Corin's the booking guy's like weird and disgusting.
Yeah.
It totally is. But
my brothers, dude, is it cool if I get off now? It's 2:30 over here in Jersey. I want my wife to be able to sleep.
yeah, man, we're done.
Totally, man.
We're done. Hey,
All right.
Appreciate you. I added you on Twitter. If you don't mind to follow back, that'd be cool.
I will follow back 100%. I'll do that.
And I sent you the dates on Instagram.
Please, yeah, I want to go to the Bellevue, so I might be coming up to the Great White North to chill with you guys.
I'll come down and chill. Gentlemen, I gotta go get the news ready, but we'll talk soon, okay? Much love, guys.
Love
Night.
you too, man.
Good night.
See you. Bye. Good night.
Merle. Hey, Super Quest, how you doing, man? We're going to see if Merle can grow a beard. I don't think he can. Yeah, Cloudy. Merle's my buddy, and him and I are like best friends. And Mustafa, I just met before the show, and he's a good dude, very good dude. I didn't realize he was East Coast. I thought he was California. You know who else is from Staten Island? Ron Bumblefoot Thal, creator of our theme song, Little Brother is Watching. Make sure you download it. It would look good on your playlist. Totally would, honestly. I have another beard coming. Science Bob is sending me his beard because he shaved it off. So I do have Science Bob's beard coming for the studio. By the beard of Zeus. Merle. Good night, Merle. We rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really do appreciate it. Want to remind you that if you've missed most of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Speaking of the news, oh yeah, let's do this thing. The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR Newswire at the back end of every show, where we get to the weird, the strange, the wacky, and sometimes the banished. Yes, apparently some teachers in the United States want to ban the bard. Yep, call them woke, call them whatever you want, but a number of academics in the U.S. don't want to teach Shakespeare in their schools. Some believe Shakespeare promoted racism, white supremacy, and intolerance through his works. In the January issue of School Library Journal, Amanda McGregor, a Minnesota-based librarian, bookseller, and freelance journalist, wondered why teachers were continuing to teach Shakespeare. Shakespeare's works are full of problematic, outdated ideas with plenty of misogyny, racism, homophobia, classism, anti-Semitism, and misogynoir, McGregor wrote. And misogynoir, by the way, refers to the hatred of black women. Now, McGregor and others with her point of view think educators should make room for modern, diverse, and inclusive voices. The Library Journal, piece detailed a number of educators who had followed suit with McGregor. I replaced Romeo and Juliet with The House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros last year and Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds this year, said Liz Matthews, a 9th grade English teacher in Hartford, Connecticut, whose student body is 95% black or Hispanic. So that's quite interesting. Do you think that Shakespeare should be banned from schools? I'll be honest with you. I hated Shakespeare when I was a kid. I really did. I hated going through it in school. I thought it was a waste of time, but to each their own. That's just to each their own. Well, she's no heir apparent, but heir is her parent. Yes, a wild claim coming from an Indonesian woman who, at 25 years old, insists her newborn daughter was fathered by wind. By wind. You know, wind. Yeah, the gale force miracle begins after the mom finished shooting the breeze with a higher power. An afternoon prayer, I was lying face down. Then suddenly I felt a gust of wind enter my vagina. City Zane has been quoted. 15 minutes later, while in her living room, Zanea said she started feeling apparent labor pains and went to a medical clinic immediately. 60 minutes after the gust of wind in the West Java province was said to have impregnated the woman, and she gave birth to a 6.4-pound baby girl. The clinic's director speculated Zana was already pregnant but didn't realize it until her delivery. Local police were quick to draft some details of their own to circulate among the community. We don't want this matter to foster wild rumors among the public, a police spokesperson said. The wind knocking up an Indonesian woman. Somebody, I think, got a little frisky and didn't want to tell her parents. That's all I'm saying. People trying to salvage the perishable foods at a grocery store have been thrown away during the power outage. And here's the strange thing. Police have arrived. Portlanders turned up at a local Fred Meyer's store to recover perishable food that had been discarded in dumpsters after a massive winter storm knocked out power for thousands of residents in the area. They wound up facing off with nearly a dozen police officers who were sent there literally to guard the trash. Local residents showed up to pick through the meat, cheese, and juice the store had thrown away, apparently in hopes of putting the items to use in the community. However, Fred Meyer, facing backlash on Twitter, said the food wasn't fit to donate. Getting 12 police officers called on me for trying to liberate dumpster food to feed fall in the warming shelters during the winter storm is very on brand for me and the city of Portland. Twitter user @TeamRaccoonPDX wrote. Then he added, but now the food is being liberated from the dumpsters by the carloads and distributed to those who need it in the community experiencing food insecurity. So Fred Meyer looking really bad here right now. The group first gathered around 2:30 in the afternoon at the Hollywood West Fred Meyer. The Portland Police Bureau said that someone at the grocery store had called at around 4 p.m. to report that people were arguing with employees and refusing to leave the property. After a second call from the store from an employee who felt the situation was escalating and could turn into a physical confrontation, that's when officers arrived. The position of the employees of the store was that the food was spoiled and required to be disposed of due to lack of refrigeration. The food was unfit for consumption or donation. Officers also tried to explain this to the group of people. No subject in the crowd was willing to have an open dialogue with the officers and continued to shout insults at them and the store employees. Between 5:05 and 5:15, when most cops were at the scene, there was a lieutenant, one sergeant, 6 officers, and 3 trainees present. Officers left the store when they believed that there wasn't any threat of harm, although employees later called back to report that the crowd had returned and that some were making threatening statements. Police decided to remain away unless there was an imminent threat to life or serious threat of injury. Now, photos posted to Twitter by Juniper Simonis from the Oregonian, described as an activist and researcher, showed the Fred Meyer dumpsters were stuffed with food. Simonis said that they were threatened with arrest while documenting the police presence at the store. They had a press badge, according to the newspaper. I'm just interacting with officers and trying to get their information, and then they say, we're going to arrest you if you don't leave, and threaten me with trespassing. Oh, man, I don't even know where to stand on that. I mean, food. People are hungry. They don't have enough food right now. Where their expiry dates look. If it's milk or meat, yeah, maybe you don't want that. Maybe you don't want that. But other stuff probably could have been used. Just put it on a table outside. People will always get it. People will always get it. Unless you work in finance, banking, and economics, you're probably not the most thrilling subjects out there. They're important, sure, but most people can't really get into them unless something goes terribly wrong. And, well, something has gone wrong. In fact, a U.S. judge described this case as one of the biggest blunders in banking history. Citibank, one of the largest financial institutions on the planet, accidentally sent a bit too much money to lenders of the cosmetics group Renlon. The lenders were supposed to get around $8 million in interest payments. Instead, they received almost $900 million. That's just short of $1 billion, in case your math is as terrible as mine can be. It sure is an embarrassing mistake for the international financial institution to make, but it shouldn't be that big of a deal, right? Well, all Citibank needed to do was contact the lenders, admit their mistake, and ask for the money back. But that's not what they did. Not exactly. See, some of the lenders did return the money, but others refused. Some of the institutions are still holding $500 million of the mistakenly sent money, and now a judge is saying they don't have to return the funds. See, in principle, you, whether you're a huge bank or private citizen, shouldn't keep money that's accidentally kept to you or sent to you. It's only reasonable, since it's not really your money. Accidental money transfers also happen often enough. It's scarily easy to add a misplaced zero to the end of an amount. So by this logic, this should be a straightforward case. The reality is, of course, it's not that simple. You see, in New York law, there is something called a discharge for value defense. This rule means that if you receive money that you were legally entitled to and had no reason to suspect that there had been a mistake, the money's yours. You can keep it. And that's just the case here, where Citibank did owe the lenders money. And would you really believe a bank on that scale would make such an amateur mistake? What's more is that the amount of money Citibank sent to the lenders was precisely what Citibank owed to the lenders. Sure, the loan wasn't set to mature for a good long while, but all the numbers matched. The lenders probably just thought the bank wanted to get rid of its debt in advance. Well, apparently, the judge sided with those who received the money. Citibank now out $900 million. Joe Legan, believed to be the oldest and longest-serving juvenile lifer in the United States, has been released from a Pennsylvania prison after spending nearly 7 decades behind bars. Legan was incarcerated in February 1953 at the age of 15, given a mandatory life sentence after pleading guilty to charges stemming from a robbery and a stabbing spree in Philadelphia with 4 other teenage boys. The crime left 6 people wounded and 2 people, identified by the Philadelphia Inquirer as Charles Pitts and Jackson Ham, dead. I got caught up in terms of being in the streets, Legan said. While a so-called degree of guilt hearing found Legan guilty of 2 counts of first-degree murder, and Legan admitted to stabbing at least one of the 8 people stabbed that day, his attorney Bradley Bridge said that his client maintains he never killed anyone. The child that committed those crimes back in 1953 no longer exists. The person that came out of prison in 2021 is 83 years old, has grown, changed, and is no longer a threat. He has amply repaid society for the damage and harm that he did, and now it's appropriate that he spends the last years of life in freedom. I'm grown up now, Legan says. I'm not a kid anymore. Not only am I a grown man, I'm an old man and getting older every day. Legan's road to release has been a long one. In the 1970s, he and his accomplices were granted the option of clemency from Pennsylvania's governor. While 2 of the men chose to accept the offer, clemency meant being on parole, which Legan rejected. He turned down another offer of parole in 2017 after a ruling by the U.S. Supreme Court made him eligible. A year before, in 2016, the court had decided that the Miller v. Alabama 2012 case, in which mandatory juvenile life sentences without the prospect of parole were deemed unlawful, should be applied retroactively. The decision effectively resentenced Legan to 35 years to life and made him eligible for parole since he had been in prison for over 60 years. But Legan rejected that offer again, stating parole would not grant him the freedom he desired after decades in prison. The state parole board presumably would have released him, but on a condition that he would have to be under their supervision for the rest of their life. He said he chose not to seek parole under those terms. Bridge, who has represented Legan for 15 years now, ultimately argued that a mandatory life sentence for a crime Legan committed as a juvenile was unconstitutional. After a failed hearing at the Pennsylvania Intermediate Appellate Court, Bridge managed to bring the case to the federal court and won the issue in November 2020, which ultimately granted Legan freedom under his own terms in 2021. Wow. Imagine that. 60 plus years in prison. I mean, he went in literally when we were still flying airplanes. Jets were just coming in to the air. You know, telephones, televisions, radios. And now I almost feel sorry for the guy. How is he going to adjust at 83 years old? I don't know. A Banksy artwork has been removed from the side of a building in Nottingham and sold to a collector. The mural, which depicts a girl hula hooping with a bike tire, appeared on a residential street in October. Well, the slab of brick was seen being cut from the wall in Wriothesley Avenue from about early in the morning until the evening. Gallery owner John Brandler said he paid a six-figure sum for the piece and wanted to help preserve it as well as put it on display. Resident Dan Goldstein said the workmen were drilling into a wall in the early hours. The artwork was then seen being loaded into the back of a van. Mr. Brandler said the workers were part of a very specialized company which had removed Banksy art before. He added he is now sending it to Scotland to be restored. The collector owns a number of elusive artist pieces, including Season's Greetings, which he bought from a garage in Port Talbot in 2019. He claimed he had saved the Nottingham work in time before damp could cause damage under the plastic cover put on by Nottingham Council. If you put perspex over a picture, the moisture gets into the brick wall and can't escape. That wall then needs to breathe. If I hadn't bought it and removed it in 2 years' time, there wouldn't have been a Banksy there at all. Mr. Brandler said he plans to feature the piece in a street exhibition later this year. Well, that's kind of cool. Wish I had the money to do that. Banksy's one of my favorites. One of my favorites. An Indian man came to the rescue of a thirsty, potentially deadly cobra by pouring water from a bottle into the venomous snake's mouth. The video, which has gone viral, shows the man, believed to be an IFS official, gently holding the water bottle while the cobra drinks from the opening. The man touches the cobra with his other hand to keep the snake steady and calm while drinking. Love and water, two of the best ingredients in life, Nanda tweeted. That's a good story. And finally, utility workers investigating a gas leak at a Tennessee home called wildlife officials for assistance when they discovered a family of bears sleeping under the house. The Appalachian Bear Rescue said a utility crew responded to a home in Sevier County and called the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency when they ventured under the house and were faced with an ample caboose of a very large snoozing bear. The crawl space beneath the home is not a great place for a bear den, especially if there's a gas leak, the Bear Rescue said. There was no way to know if the gas injured the bear. There was no way to safely repair the gas line while the bear was in residence, and there was no way to keep the home warm and habitable without repairing the gas line. Wildlife officials arrived at the scene and were able to successfully encourage the big bear to leave the premises, but they then discovered that it was a mom and she left behind 3 young cubs. The cubs were examined by the University of Tennessee College of Veterinary Medicine and found to be in very good health. They were then transferred to the Appalachian Bear Rescue, where officials said they are now hoping to find another mother bear in the wild to foster the cubs. Well, what happened to their mom? Why not just take them back to their mom? I don't know. Can they do that? Thought of the Dave happens every night at this time, where we ask a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages, then read your responses on the air because we love the audience participation around here. Today's Thought of the Dave is as follows. In your opinion, what is the best reality TV, paranormal, UFO, or cryptid show? John, always wearing a Stetson, says, is there one? Dirty Filth. I'm slightly biased here, but I will go with The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. When I first learned of this subject, I was floored. It has everything: aliens, UFOs, weird animals, strange lights, portals, one of my cartoons, cattle mutilations. So much woo in such a small place. Kim says, I don't watch TV. Twin Rose. Ghost Nation because it has the granddaddy of the paranormal TV, Jason Hawes. I'll take the advice from Thumper on Bambi about his former co-star. Anthony used to love sightings back in the early 90s. It was what first gave me a taste of ETs and UFOs. Lucio, I'll go with Hellier because it does a great job of showing how obscure and esoteric the paranormal is, sometimes ridiculous, sometimes astounding. Mickle, love your interviews, Dave. Big fan here. Thank you, Mickle. Appreciate that. Alien Babble, Hangar 1, the UFO Files. Lots of fake journalists on that one. I don't recommend it. And Skull and Bones, he loves Hellier. And why not? It's a good show. Love the concept of those cavern and ancient people society. Very cool. Very cool. All right, let's move on to the other ones. Let's see here. Where are we? Katie, Fringe, covered a lot of possibilities, was oddly relatable, and it was the first to pop into my brain. Kira, I don't watch TV, but SOR is my favorite radio program. Oh, we love you, Kira. We love you. Lori, none of what I've seen so far. It's way too scripted. Andrea, I like Fight Club. It's funny. It just gives people a chance to share their evidence. The Ghost Brothers and Jack Osborne have great energy. I'm 5 episodes in. Love it. John, Paranormal Witness, Haunted Hospitals, Paranormal Survivor, Celebrity Ghost Stories, Paranormal 911, Paranormal Night Shift, Terror in the Woods. No special reason why I like them so much other than that they are very good shows. Jeff, not sure if it fits into this category, but Survivor Man Bigfoot is my choice. Yes, it does. Les Stroud has a neutral point of view and listens to all points. He'd be a fantastic guest. Hint, hint. We're trying. Heidi, Hellier is my favorite. Carrie, capturing the light documentary about Dorothy Izot, 30K of film over decades. She's a regular person with a cool life. Bill, Monsters and Mysteries in America did a nice job. Tim, Terror in the Woods, Monsters and Mysteries in America, UFO Hunters with Bill Burns. And let's get to one more. Let's go to Cousin Darren here. Cousin Darren. Where is that sound coming from? Oh, if you heard that sound in the background, that means the fire department's being called. Yes, we still have an old air horn in this area. Cousin Darren gets the last word. He goes, paranormal? No, because I have a hard time believing this stuff that can be easily faked to create a show. 2, UFOs, same as 1, but I will be watching because I want to believe ETs exist. 3, cryptid shows give me a headache because the images are always way too fuzzy. Thank you, Dr. Darren. We appreciate that. Thank you to everybody participating in the Thought of the Dave. We'll do it all again on Facebook and Twitter tomorrow. And, of course, thank you to Captain Shirk for a wonderful SOR Newswire, which can be found on our website. And, of course, we always got to say a big thank you to Merle from Paranormal Road Trippers for coming on for Ghosts of the Great White North and introducing us from Ghost Hunters, Mustafa Gatollari. What a great guy. What a great guy. Another great guy, we got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, at work, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone hanging out in our chat rooms tonight. Spreaker, YouTube, LGAB, Revolution Radio, Facebook, the Space Travelers Club, and of course, the Snarkers and Snarkats showing their skills on Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends, say it with me, we're watching. We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo Train has docked for the night. But tomorrow, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night. Couldn't figure out what that sound was. There it was. The fire department horn. Or siren. That's how we roll here. The big 108. How we roll. How we do it. Download that. This is how we do it. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Okay, what the hell is going on here? I feel like I got like... Oh. All right. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. I crave dog. I crave dog. I crave dog. That was a fun show. Fun show. You guys see the video of that crab smoking a cigarette? I've had like 4 people send it to me. Fantastic. Fantastic. Itchy nose. Let me check, Corrance. Yep, I got her. She's online right now. We absolutely confirm. Teddy Hadiyiska. Dietlovpass.com. Officially booked by Corrance, the booking guy. Corrance, the booking guy. Corrance, the booking guy. Corrance, the booking guy. Hello, Corrance. Hi, Jacques Anov. What's happening? I see what you did there with your name. That's quite creative. Jacques Anov. All right, let's move this over. Your dog may be an alien. What can we do about that? What can us weirdos do about that? I don't know. Really don't know. What does one do about that? Very nice follow-up there, Bombshell Bomber. Very nice. Very nice follow-up. That was very smooth there, Bombshell. Very, very smooth. What do you mean, are they from Canada? Most of them are from the United States. They're called virgins. Sovereign farts, you always want to blame the Canadians. That's your whole goal in life, is to blame the Canadians. Oh, here we go. Look, he's trying to be funny. Look at Jacques Sanoff. He's trying to be funny, saying my hair looks like something done by the movie Something About Mary People. I'm going to assume he means the Cameron Diaz part where she uses sperm, thinking it's hair gel, in order to gel her hair. That's the intelligence we're dealing with right now in this absolutely horrific example of trolling right now. Horrific example. Dude, honestly. Look, Jacques, this is for you, okay? This is for you, to be honest. If you're going to bring some game to my room, bring some fucking game, man. Like, this is horrible. You should be ashamed of yourself by even trying to bring that as insulting and trolling. Like, are you like 14 and you think that mom and dad let you stay up late because there's no school down in the South right now where half your classmates don't even have teeth? And now all of a sudden you're like wanting, hey, let's go troll a YouTube channel. Oh, let's do that. Come on, dude. If you're gonna insult me or insult my audience, bring some fucking game. Your snark is horrible. It's horrible. It's pathetic. You should be ashamed of yourself. Seriously. I'm disappointed in you, Jacques. Very disappointed in you. You can do better. Come on. I'll give you an opportunity. You got to do better. Because right now you're boring the living hell out of me. Seriously, I like good snark. Bring it. Don't bring me bullshit. No, it's not meant to. See, now you're trying to get out of it because now you don't know what else to say. So we're learning your age. So you're probably a teenager right now, okay, who has maybe a YouTube login that you're not allowed to have, or sneaking into your bed at night because you got nothing better to do and all your buddies are asleep. Dude, honestly, you better go find another room because honestly, your game is terrible. Honestly, if you worked for me right now, I would call you into my office and say, hey, Jock, come into my office. You're fucking fired. Your game is that bad, you're fired. It's terrible. Vin, you're right. There's nothing worse than a bad troll. There go the sirens now. Even the flat earthers are better than you, Jacques. And that's not saying much. Gonna come into my room and try and troll me? Are you kidding me? Like, what kind of bullshit is that? Go on, Jacques. Go on, Jock Strap. Let's go here. Something tells me that our friend Jacques wears a Jill. Because he can't handle it. It's terrible. I'm so offended by his horrible trolling. I mean, that was just horrible. Like, you hire trolls? No. No, I don't hire trolls. I just know that you're boring the hell out of me, dude. You're boring the hell out of me. Bring some game. Insult me. Insult my beard. Insult my weight. Tell me that I made love to an alien or my mom made love to an alien and this is what she got. But you're not bringing anything right now, Jockstrap. You're not bringing anything. It's terrible. Right? And see, now you can't use my game against me, man, because then it's going to suck even worse for you. And you've already proven that you obviously don't know how to snark. You're a virgin snarker, maybe a snarkette, and it's just not good. It doesn't suit your personality. I mean, it's like a Jehovah's Witness all of a sudden trying to bless Christmas on someone. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Oh. Hey, Dirt Road, have a good night, man. Oh, Derek, you walked. Oh, see, Derek, we have a young man here who's going by, what's his name here? Jacques Anoff, kind of like jacking off. Okay, and he's trying to snark me. Basically, he started off with something extremely weak, saying that my hair reminds him of that Cameron Diaz theme or scene on There's Something About Mary. Honestly, it was a pathetic. It was starting off with the name. The name is pathetic. Okay, and now we have to go and deal with his terrible snark. Yeah, honestly, Derek, it's pathetic. It's pathetic. I'm telling you right now, a-hole skeptic would chew this guy up and spit him out before anything he knew what was going on. Exactly. See, like, look, I love it when you talk shit to me, Dave. See, I think what we're dealing with here, Derek, is we're dealing with teenage snark, probably around the ages of 14 to 17. Okay, because we're not getting into long sentences, and we're keeping it very mild. I don't know. Like we tried with the semen one right off the bat, and it failed miserably. And now he's trying to rectify, and it's just not working. Jock itch, it's not working for you, man. Thank you, Lexi. What do you prefer, jock itch or jock strap? You came into the wrong room, son. You came into the wrong room. Just for that, I should force you to donate me $10 for a super chat for wasting my time with your horrid snark. My time is money. See, look, Derek, tired of ramen there. He doesn't even know you, and he comes in, voice probably hasn't dropped along with other things. That's all because he's read your snark, and he knows, as a professional snarker himself, that your words are worthless right now. We're trying to help you here. Well, I should hope so. We're trying to help you, Jockstrap. Trying to help you. And I don't know if you're studying enough, man. I don't know. I'm not feeling the love here. You know, here we are. We're trying to bust our asses to make you a good student of the snark, and you're fucking this up bad. You're screwing it up bad, man. I mean, this is, honestly, dude, this is the kind of snark you're delivering that your father would be ashamed of you. Your mother would be ashamed of you. Even your dog's ashamed of your snark right now. Your dog's probably hiding in a corner with its head buried towards the wall because it can't stand the lack of insult that your insults are throwing. Mm-hmm. It's true. See, even Crave Dog is like, to be honest, Dave, your hair looks badass. So yeah, that's a super lame troll. Honestly, you're getting carved here, man. You're getting carved. Like, I feel bad for you. I feel bad. Hey, Vinster, thank you so much. Look, look at that. Jockstrap, look at that. Okay, look at that. Vinny there felt so bad for your horrid snark that he actually donated $10 in your name to this show. You better say thank you to Mr. Barbarino 29 and use the term Mr. because he deserves this. Harry Balls, how you doing, buddy? It's been a while since you've been here. I like Harry Balls Sr. Where's Junior tonight? Look, now he's trying to say I'm full RTD. No, see, you can't go that route, man. You can't go that route. Insulting people with disabilities is not cool. It's not cool. You can't do that. Today's day and age where people are a little sensitive, you can't do that anymore, man. You know, you can't even make fun of people who have epilepsy and ask them to make a milkshake anymore. Can't do that. Right? We're a sensitive society these days. But it looks like I came in your hair. No, see, now that's weak, dude. You can't be going there, okay? Because A, it's not true. Because under COVID, you can't come to my house to come in my hair. You can't, okay? So that doesn't work. All right? You can't, you're reaching now, and it's honestly, just jockstrap, honestly, you can't sit there and bring something like that. That's terrible weak. It's super weak. And, you know, it really makes us wonder, you know, if you're a Trudeau supporter or not, because you're acting like one right now. And that's horrible. Horrible. You're better than this. You're better than this. All right? Stick to ping pong. Stick to your video games. This YouTube thing you haven't figured out yet. And by God, kid, stay off of Twitter because you sure as hell aren't ready for that by knowing what we've seen here so far in the snark department tonight. What if he was wearing a mask, though? Oh, my God. See, even Anthony, thank you, Anthony, for the super chat. Even Anthony feels bad for you. He threw $2 in your name here for telling horrible troll jokes. Unoriginal, he's called you. This is making me laugh. The only good glory hole is Steel Panther's Glory Hole. It's a good song. Go listen to it. And if you're under the age of 18, make sure you hit the 18 button that you are of age, because then you can watch the unedited adult version. Hey, Vistus Kane, how are you? Welcome. See what I tell you, people? Trudeau supporter. Right there. Trudeau supporter. Harry Balls, we think that Jacques is probably between the age, by the quality of his snark, Harry. We've concluded that he's between the age of 14 and 17 right now, because he got zero game. It's terrible. Vistus Kane, I'm doing great, man. Doing great. Thank you. True, Commonwealth Andrew. Commonwealth Andrew says, Dave, if he was an electrician, his jokes wouldn't even be shocking. Well, Vistus, we're trying to teach this young lad on how to properly snark. Queen's above 18? Well, then, go watch Glory Hole by Steel Panther. You'll enjoy that video. You'll thank me later. See, even after those horrid insults that you tried to send my way, I'm trying to help you. I should charge you for counseling. Right? No, it's not Gil. It's definitely not Gil. By the way, Gil is not banned. Gil just got in trouble, okay, for saying some pretty terrible things, okay? And, but Gil is not banned. Don't let Gil tell you different. Gil is not banned. I know this for a fact. What did Corinth say here? Yes, Paul Wallace and I, Corinth, are already on am I? Hold on. I'll add him right now. Oh, wrong one. I thought we were added already. Paul Anthony Wallace. There we go. Thought I had added him. What again? Hi, Paul. It's Dave from Spaced Out Radio. There we go. He's added, Corns. This is why you make the big bucks around here, buddy, because you take care of me. All right, hold on. Gigi Allen was awesome. That's the best comment you've made so far tonight. See, for Sovereign Farts, I can't have that comment in the chat room. That's what's going to get this young guy all confused about what is snark and what isn't. That's going to get him, got to be careful. Got to be careful with that. Let's see here. Gigi Allen was, that's a great movie, documentary. He was one sick bastard, by the way. One sick bastard, Gigi Allen. What are you going into withdrawal for, Derek? Next week, hold on. We got actually a good week next week. Hold on. I got that list. Corrance gave it to me. Next week, we got Butch Butch is on Monday. Luis Elizondo on Tuesday. David Weatherly, or who's Wednesday? Hold on. Who's Wednesday? Craig Campobasso talking E.T. Species, the Ultimate Almanac Guide. And then we got the round table on the Saturday or on the Friday. Got a good week. Good week. Lots of glitter, lots of woo. The Elizondo one will not be a lot of stuff on there. I didn't come up with Jock Itch. I came up with Jock Strap. I thought you came up with Jock Itch, Lexi. Yeah. You get that, and then you follow that up with some R. Keith Andrews the following week. Just saying. You lucked out. Oh, okay. All right, if you're impersonating Gil, then we'll let you off the hook there. See, piss on you and beating you, I'm home here now. Number one, if we wanted to, see, that's weak there again, man. That's weak there again, because if we wanted to, we couldn't due to COVID. So that just brings frustration and eye rolling to piss poor snark like that. Okay? My suggestion is you might want to try some Pepto-Bismol. Okay? Get rid of the heartburn and the gastro stuff that you're going through where the snark builds up in this area here. Because snark comes from the diaphragm and the brain. It's got to flow gently and nicely and naturally. We all know you're stretching it right now, and it's not working. Not working. You were going on such a good roll with Gigi Allen, Jock Itch, and then all of a sudden you went back to jockstrap mode and think, if I type this, I'm going to have some fun. No, that's not fun. It's terrible. It's terrible. You're like watching Europeans fight in hockey. You're less interesting than Coldplay, and that says a lot. Honestly, he's got to be the worst snarker we've ever had. Worst snarker. Hey, speaking of where's Mr. Troll? Where's Troll Oronto been lately? Hey, Barry Convex, what's happening? That one's done. That one's done. All right, let's put this input folder in here. Close that out. Hey, Fast Hemi, you have a good night, man. I'm pretty sure Dave killed my Meemaw. No, Dave did not kill your Meemaw. How do I know this? Number one, you got Meemaw from watching too much Big Bang Theory and Little Sheldon. Okay, number two, I'm in Canada, which means if you're using the term Meemaw, you're somewhere in the south of the United States, so that doesn't work either. You're horrible. Horrible. Hey, Overbuilt, good to see you. I had to be refunded for a G.G. Allen show in Portland because he claimed he would kill himself live. What, and if he didn't kill himself, you got refunded? Is that how that worked? Or did they cancel the show? Oh, they banned him. Wow. Yeah, that guy was off his rocker. What's G.G. Allen's brother's name? Merle. Merle. Have a good night, Fast Hammy. Be safe, buddy. Hey, Derek, you didn't believe me on the Wolverine thing. Good call, Fabster. Not bad for a Dodgers fan, but good call. I don't know Coldplay. That's for Hallmark Corey. Did you know? Okay, so for those of you who don't know, but Hallmark Corey, his dad, Nate, who I call Nate Foot, Nate Rudd, Nate used to bench press like almost 500 pounds. Guy's a monster. Like 480. Corey posted a video of his dad like 10 years ago, bench pressing 480 pounds. That's crazy. Excuse me. I could go for a nice drink of hot piss. That's terrible. That's terrible. I'm not playing Wham. I don't even know any Wham songs. Yes. See, that's high quality snark there, Derek, and you're not even warmed up yet. You haven't even stretched yet. 480. So was he benching Jacques' mom? Derek's not even warmed up and coming up strong just like that. Careless Whisper. You're right, Derek. I do know that one. Fabster. Fabster's picking up some game here. Because you don't want to spill that cup of piss that he wants to drink, Fap. Because you know how tasty a cup of piss can be. Go to the bar. Yeah, bartender, can I have your finest piss? It's gotta be warm. Not too hot, not too cold. Body temperature's perfect. That's the way I love my piss. Fuck. Unbelievable. That's just terrible. Commonwealth Andrew, do you make anything outside of an ale or a stout? Yes, he did. Patches from Dodgeball. Oh. Just terrible. All right, guys. On that note, I'm going to bed. I'm supposed to have the day off work tomorrow, but I got to work. So I'm heading off to bed because I got to be up in like 7 hours. You guys have a good night. Thank you to Vinster. Thank you to Fapster and to Anthony, New York Anthony, for the super chats tonight. Really appreciate it. And thank you to Jock Itch for, coming to try and snark us, but obviously failing. You owe me $10 there, Jock Itch. You owe me $10. So I expect a super chat here in the next little bit. But thank you, everyone. Have a good night. We'll talk to you soon. And tomorrow night on the show, we're talking to an Australian guy. I forget his name right now because I'm tired. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.